supply chain. Because NetSuite is cloud-based, working from home didn't change a thing. We're still bringing affordable luxury into homes all across America. I'm now closing the books 5 to 10 times faster thanks to NetSuite.
Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
The city of New Orleans giving bars and restaurants a break by easing COVID-19 restrictions. Bars now have 25% capacity indoors, 100% outdoors, but bar owner Urian Hilton says his business is down.
It's been slow, It's been, people are scared to go to bars. We've done with the tables, socially distant the tables, and that's mainly encouraging people to drink outside.
California, Oregon, Washington issuing travel advisories asking people to self-quarantine for 14 days if they're heading to their states. The news just coming out, and travelers like Kathleen Schell, who just arrived at the airport in Seattle from the East Coast, didn't know about the new rules.
I actually did try to see if there was going to be some restrictions, and I didn't see anything because when you make the reservation, it didn't say anything about that.
Washington Governor Jay Inslee is holding a news conference later today. The Seattle Times reports the governor will ban indoor service at restaurants and bars and cut capacity at grocery stores and retail.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
America is at a crossroads on many issues, leading many to ask, is it time for the president to blow the silver horn left behind by the Founding Fathers in case the country ever needed them? Of course, the horn, which has been sitting in the Oval Office since 1817, has never been used by a commander-in-chief, but many Americans think now might be the time to summon our forefathers. Which Founding Fathers would come back?
All of them. Look, when you have a bug problem, you call the exterminator. When you have an America problem, you call the Founding Fathers. They know what to do.
We have to keep in mind the Founding Fathers left us with a warning. If you blow the horn with less than pure intentions, it will turn to tin and can never be used.
But a president has to take risks, have the courage to admit that his administration is not all-knowing, and blow that magic silver horn to summon someone who is.
Yes, but what if we become too reliant on them and they disappear after the next new moon, as was written?
Yeah. This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live indeed. This is your live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Beakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And you can call in and talk about whatever you want, just like you can any night of the week between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, because we're here doing the thing, taking the calls, because that's what we do here on Free Talk Live. I'll give you the number one more time, 855-450-3733. And we'll just go right into the stories. Guys, sure. I've got a story here from BusinessInsider.com. A top Biden staffer has accused Facebook of shredding the fabric of our democracy.
Oh, a Biden staffer? Not even a Trump guy this time?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Now, I'm not arguing this point.
Well, I think our democracy should have been made of something more durable than fabric.
Yet another sign the social media giant should fear the new administration. Now, I mean, I think that it's pretty clear that most of the people in Silicon Valley, the ones we hear about, are probably, they were Biden folks, and they were the ones
guaranteed they were Biden folks.
Yeah, drinking the champagne and dancing in the streets and these sorts of things when Biden won. Screw COVID.
Funny how it just takes a day off from time to time.
Yeah, COVID just takes a day off. Don't worry about it.
It's not a super spreader event.
Because it's a Democrat event. Super spreader events are only Republican events.
That's what the science bears out, Mark.
It's a very partisan virus. A very partisan virus.
Just listen to the experts.
I mean,
yes.
Did Biden come down with COVID? No.
No.
Did Hillary come down with COVID? No. It's
neither
a
of
very
them,
partisan virus.
Neither of them campaigned. So there you go. And I mean,
which
Hillary
is more evidence that staying home and hiding out is effective at not getting the virus.
The one thing I will say about that I sort of agree with the Trump campaign on is one of the Trump staffers, somebody like that, said something to the effect of, it just doesn't make sense how a guy who could stay home in his basement most of the election could get elected. And that much I agree with. It just doesn't make sense. It boggles the mind.
Have you heard that man talk?
Who? Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Well,
that was obviously the best possible strategy for him.
It clearly was the best possible strategy.
Well, I considered it to be the silent majority, right? Because, the Trump supporters were always out, vocal, rallies, in your face, the whole Trump train, choo-choo, right? Driving down the street in their pickup trucks.
Well, I think that was kind of 50-50. So, in everyday conversation, that's true. But I mean, as far as Trump supporters went, in everyday conversation, I'm betting you the vast majority of them would never admit that they liked Trump.
Okay.
Whereas every now and again, they get to let their Trump flag fly, so they're going to go all out for it.
Okay. Fair enough. But that would be the vocal minority, right? The people who really supported Biden were less likely to go to those rallies because they were hiding out in their basement, fearing COVID, along with dear leader Joe Biden, right? And so when they voted by mail and didn't go to the polls, seemed to bear out what their overall position was in life right now. So non-vocal, silent, but majority, because he won the popular vote, allegedly, so far.
Yeah, I'm going to go with allegedly on that one, because
I'll caveat it as much as you want, man.
I don't usually trust election results anyway. This one least of all.
Yeah, I don't know what, I won't say one way or the other, but, I got my... It certainly didn't seem like Biden had the support. And this is one thing I would say, is that whether you like, Biden or Trump or whatever, it seemed abundantly clear that Trump had the deeper support, the more passionate support. People were showing up to his events and these kind of things. And I do kind of feel like,
vocal majority. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, shouldn't there be something in the system for voting that kind of takes into account how much the people that want what the candidate they want,
like a weighted vote? I like Trump 10, but you only like Biden 5, so mine counts for twice.
Something like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you have a sufficiently cynical view of democracy like I do, then yes, it really does, because what we're doing here, much like on a pirate ship. We're doing sure, maybe that guy with 2 peg legs who doesn't hear so well and claps at things that aren't there. Maybe that guy's not going to be as good in a fight as, a fully, limbed person. But on average, when you do a vote for captain, more or less whoever wins is probably going to win in a mutiny.
So could you not then just make the case that weighted vote is the Electoral College?
Well, perhaps, if the Electoral College didn't have to do what they were told to do. So, no, I don't think you really could. I mean, in half the states in the United States, the Electoral College is bound by law to vote for the direction the state went.
Okay. But, I mean, in the last election, Trump won the Electoral College vote, but lost the popular vote. So
No, because Vermont is probably the most weighted state in so much as it's your vote counts a lot in Vermont towards the Electoral College. It's always going to go blue, but it counts a lot. So it doesn't matter whether somebody in Vermont cares a lot or cares a little about Biden.
Okay.
And I think the founders had something when they said, landowners. I mean, I don't think it necessarily should be based on your race. But I mean, a landowner makes some sense to me. Somebody's got some skin in the game.
Fair.
As opposed to just sort of,
I'm going to take the extreme opinion and say it absolutely shouldn't be, rather than not necessarily. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying as far as like you're invested in the country. And there's another argument that says, well, if I can get drafted, then I ought to have a say.
Sure.
And I mean, as far as like the waiting your vote for the Electoral College, I think there's a little bit of that in just a matter of like, okay, well, this state could decide to secede, so the state gets a little bit extra for being a state. So like Montana doesn't have that many people, but they might decide like, yeah, we're going to be part of Canada now.
So they get more votes to prevent them from defecting to Canada?
Exactly.
Well, they do get more votes in the Electoral College as opposed to, who knows why they do. I mean, you can decide what the reason is, but they do get more as a percentage of population compared to, say, California.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with the structure that this had, once upon a time when states were states instead of glorified federal counties.
Right. I always thought that Heinlein had an interesting idea, which was only the people who'd been in the military got to vote. And, I mean, it was a hyper-militaristic society, but, I mean, who knows how it would go if only veterans got to vote.
Well, and that was part of how it was originally set up, is that the militia was everybody. I mean, every able-bodied man, and yes, men specifically, every able-bodied man was expected to have a weapon of their own that they kept in good condition and were trained to use. So every single man, the people that would vote, was expected to be able to defend territory.
So only gun owners get to vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's that's the thing.
Whatever your criteria is, so just.
Well, I mean, when this was more of a frontier, you were pretty much expected that you had a gun.
Sure.
Because why wouldn't you at that point? I mean, as it becomes more and more urban, there becomes less and less of a need to do that. But
for hunting purposes, perhaps. Yeah.
And another point that's worth mentioning here is we already have a test to see whether somebody gets to vote or not. We call it the United States Citizenship Exam. Oh. The thing is we only administer it to people who were born outside of a given polygon.
I'm pretty sure there are non-citizens that casted a vote in this past election.
It could be. I don't know. But what I'm saying
I'm pretty sure there were non-living people that casted a vote in this election.
If you can't name how many states there are, or like some basic questions, perhaps your vote isn't as meaningful as somebody who, I don't know, can answer all those questions correctly.
So your vote is weighted based on your citizenship test score?
Not a bad idea. I'm at this point, I'm willing to go for anything. It's not that I'm bitter about Trump losing. As a matter of fact, I think this is, I can make the argument this is the optimal libertarian solution. But, all of it just stinks. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin breaks 16,000 as Congress is poised to pump even more unbacked dollars into the market. John McAfee pumps Ghost, his crypto token, from prison. Threats from the SEC ignored. New Wyoming Congresswoman is a Bitcoin holder. Law enforcement moves long dormant Silk Road Bitcoin billion. Trump and Biden tied over who stinks more for crypto. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news. Divi's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divi's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to diviproject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from diviproject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. diviproject.org. DIVI project.org.
Want to accept Bitcoin at your online store? There's a good chance you already have what you need: a WordPress using WooCommerce and a Bitcoin address. Now all you need to start taking Bitcoin payments on your website is the AnyPay app on your Android or iPhone. Just paste your Bitcoin address into AnyPay, then connect it to your website with our one-click plugin for WordPress. Now your website takes Bitcoin, start to finish, in 15 minutes or less with no complicated steps. Download AnyPay from the App Store today.
Having taken her father's throne, Sarah Calhoun has fallen out with one of her best allies, and her brother Nathaniel heads into Imperial Philadelphia with a reckless plan. Her uncle Thomas, armed with new powers and new allies, aims to remove Sarah from her throne and from the world of the living. To survive and to gain the strength she needs to fight an impossible war, Sarah must unite the Mound Builder Kings to enact an ancient rite that will propel her beyond mortality. Servant Daughter by DJ Butler is the newest entry in the Dragon Award-winning Witchy War series from Baen Books at BaenBooks.com. Free Talk Live.
Why would they go around bombing people around the world? Doesn't that make us less safe?
Oh, you know what? I guess some of these people got it coming. It's a good day to be dead if you're a terrorist search.
How many of the people that the U.S. military has killed in the last decade have been terrorists?
A whole bunch of them. You know what?
Percentage?
You sound like some liberal church.
What percentage?
A lot of people.
I'm not a liberal, sir. Liberals support war, from what I can tell.
Take a look. Obama looked
support war when we need it. We have justifiable war. You know, there's people like you. Triumph when good men do nothing, you jerk.
Wait a second, child the jerk.
I'm not bombing anyone.
You can feel however you feel about me, but Smedley Butler, the two-time Medal of Honor winning Marine, felt the same way.
Well, you know what? The MacArthur had it the right way. You know what? We should have went after China. We should have chased those tricoms across that river, and we should have bombed them. We should have nuked them. We should have...
You are horrible.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're talking about the Biden staffer who thinks that Facebook is shredding the fabric of our democracy. It's Mark with you.
Beakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free as in freedom. Richie, yesterday we did an after show. I don't think it's gotten played yet. It might be on this evening's show, as a matter of fact.
It's been uploaded to the appropriate place from my side, and I don't know what it couldn't have been attached last night because last night was another interview. So
right, I believe it's going in tonight.
Yeah,
but it was about sport kilt.
Absolutely.
And both you and I have some kilts from sportkilt.com.
I have had sport kilts before they became an advertiser, which is why I reached out to them because I love their product, and now I have 4 sport kilts.
Here's what I would like to ladies out there. Christmas is coming, and I don't know, maybe not the same old thing this year. Maybe a kilt for your man.
Absolutely.
It might be fun. So sportkilt.com. I love mine. It's high quality American-made stuff. It's great. So I recommend it. Go to sportkilt.com. Use code FTL till the end of the month. You can save 15%.
That is my understanding at the
That's
moment.
15% on these high quality American-made kilts. Sportkilt.com.
And Peakless here is a kilt owner, even if it's not a sport kilt at the moment. So we're all kilt guys.
Kilts
at
are
this table.
surprisingly manly. And make
Not
a great
surprisingly,
conversation starter.
they're absolutely manly.
Well, it's surprising anything should be so manly.
Okay, that's fair.
It is remarkable how manly a kilt is.
Yeah, what I would say is that if you're going to get razzed by anybody about a kilt, it's by somebody who doesn't have the guts to wear one.
Absolutely.
And is not a woman.
Yeah. And
so,
to be fair, I've never been razzed while in my kilt.
Okay.
I have been complimented many times, not just for, the manliness of it, but just like, yeah, you're wearing a kilt and it's gorgeous and it's a sport kilt.
Yep. All I've gotten is compliments myself.
Yes.
So, there you go. Sportkilt.com. Let's go to Robert calling in from South Carolina. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, sir. Hi. I just wanted to say that I heard what you said before about knowledge. For example, it's important to know how to use a computer, how to think logically, how to have all the grassroots kinds of things that you have to do in daily life. But it's really not important to know actually all of the 50 states of the United States or their capitals or things like that, because you can look them up in a split second if you know how to use a computer. But if you don't know how to use a computer and you don't know how to calculate things and you can't think logically, you're in really, really, really big trouble. I can't imagine how anyone could vote for a guy who doesn't know GOD, who that is, or what that is, a guy who gives a long speech and campaigns for the U.S. Senate when he's actually trying to get into become the president.
And to be fair, he probably just misspoke, right? He
did speak a lot.
Understood, but he had spent 40 years in the Senate. Right, is only his third time running for president.
And I thought you were saying knows how many states there are, not their names or their capitals necessarily, but just knows how many states there are.
Right. I mean, I think that to me there should be a base of knowledge to just to be able to have an opinion on a subject.
Graduating high school.
Right. I mean, Robert, you and I are smart guys, but anybody who comes to us for brain surgery is a fool. Because whether we're smart or not doesn't really matter. We're completely ignorant on the subject of brain surgery. So I wouldn't go around, and I'll tell you what, if you went around and did some man-on-the-street interviews on the streets of the United States and you asked people about brain surgery, these idiots would give you an opinion.
Yes, you're right about that. And the thing is, anybody can be taught, anybody who's of average intelligence actually could probably be a brain surgeon. Anybody who dedicates them something and really wants to collect that knowledge and has a thirst for knowledge and a thirst for excellence and really wants to do a good job, you can do amazing things with an average mind.
Yeah.
The problem is that no parents, they're pressed to the wall. They have 2 or 3 jobs. They have no time for their children. Their children grow up wild. And once you reach a certain age, you lose that ability to think logically and to sit.
If children are growing up wild, it probably has a lot to do with the fact that they're raised by the state.
Yeah.
I mean, the vast majority of the time that these children have is with state care, not their parents' care.
Certainly on weekdays.
Well, if they're really in bad shape, yes. But most of the time, they're just in the neighborhood walking around, maybe at home watching TV or playing some kind of games on their computer, silly kinds of games.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, the thing is, they don't learn from it. They could put games in there that they would learn something from, but society doesn't do that.
I don't think
feel
it's
your pain.
Society's job to do that. I think it's your parents' job to see what their kids are. If you're going to pay attention to what they're putting in their mouth, pay attention to what they're putting in their brain.
Well, if we're going to defend everybody's right to have kids, and then you're going to obviously see some very ordinary, if not diminishing returns on your kid thing. On the other hand, eugenics has gotten a very bad name over the course of the last century. Let's take these good, smart, upstanding humans, breed them together in order to get better, more smart, upstanding humans.
Well, the majority of eugenics programs tend to be government run.
Indeed. It's an issue.
And probably related to the welfare state, because the more you have, the more you have to care for. And so if you don't want to care for all that many, the best way is eugenics, to get rid of the dumb ones.
Yeah, I think that what we are actually just sort of stuck with in the world is that, society's full of poor people, come up, get rich, and then once they get rich, the poor people at the bottom want the money of the rich people on top, and then you just have it all sort of cycle over in another place as it descends into a socialist cesspool.
Equality of outcomes. Like the vice president elect will have you believe.
Yeah.
And I care a lot more about getting rid of the bad ones, like the evil people, than the dumb ones, honestly.
Well, the evil ones, they're almost guaranteed a job.
Oh, yeah. Politics.
They recruit. Robert?
Yes, it's important to keep people on the straight and narrow. In other words, to keep people moving in a positive upward direction. And I know people who would have been a disaster in life, but their children, their wives, their parents, their brothers and sisters, they kept them on the right track. And if you have a family like that that's together, they'll do that, because some of the craziest people and most even deadly people, they have brilliant minds in a lot of cases. And sometimes they because their minds are a little screwed up. My mom said called it a crooked gene. People have a crooked gene. If you can keep them on track, they can do amazing things. I know a guy who designed airports, bridges, roadways, and tunnels, and he did an excellent job at those kinds of things. But he was on track to be in bad shape. But they didn't let him get. His mom was and his father and the whole family was just around him to make sure that didn't happen.
Well, it begs the question: what do you do with those that don't have that familial support system? Right?
Well, they go to prison.
Well, but that's also when the state get involved.
Yeah, again, it certainly does.
Well, and the better question, how do we form a society where that is the norm, where you actually have a family and a community beyond that family?
Robert, thank you for the call. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. I don't know. I think I was one of those kids. Just as a young person, something happened at 16 years old, and boy, did I go off the rails. And it wasn't good for a few years there. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Freedom! Freedom is the call of the untamed Scotsman and all others that want to feel the wind under their kilts.
At Free Talk Live, we love the breezy, swinging feeling that only a kilt from Sport Kilt can give.
We teamed up with Sport Kilt to let you experience their form of freedom at a discount. Go to kilts.freetalklive.com and see a picture of Richie and me in our kilts.
And then head over to sportkilt.com. Get some stylish freedom for yourself and use code FTL for a 10% discount. Sportkilt.com.
What if the United States and the Soviet Union had fought on land, sea, air, and the astral plane, struggled for dominion across parallel dimensions, or on the surface of the moon? What wonders would have been unveiled? What terrors would have haunted mankind from those dark and dismal dimensions? Come closer, peer through a glass darkly, and discover the horrifying alternative visions of World War III from some of today's greatest minds in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Weird World War III. Available now from Baen Books at baenbooks.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means, stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live listen line, 641-793-0191.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You can call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're trying to get to this article here regarding what top Biden staffer accused Facebook of shredding the fabric of democracy. I love that. Love that headline.
It's not wrong. Just surprising from the Biden camp.
Indeed. I like the irony. Oh, so you guys in Silicon Valley thought this was going to be, you'd support this candidate and everything would be, no. That's not going to go well for
There were
you.
just never Trumpers. That's it. Anyone but Trump, but not Joe Jorgensen either.
And the thing about Trump, look, again, I'm not a Trump supporter. I did not vote for Donald Trump.
But you would have. He just didn't meet your conditions.
I would have if he had pardoned Julian Assange, Ross Ulbricht, or Edward Snowden. At that point,
I'm pretty sure you would have voted for anybody that had done that.
Yeah. At that
but he
point,
specifically pledged Trump.
I will vote for Biden for his second term if he goes ahead and does one of those three guys too. Because at that point, here's the reason. At the very least, I got something out of the deal. Because otherwise, why are you voting for these people? What do you think Joe Biden is going to do for you? What did Donald Trump do to you?
You're going about
what did Obama do to you?
You're going about this all wrong. You got to say, if they promise that they will do this, then I'll vote for them, like everyone else.
Biden's going to put an end to coronavirus, an end to climate change, and give everyone universal basic income.
No, that's what he promised. That's not what he's going to do.
We'll see. He's not president yet.
Are we? Is the United States still in Guantanamo?
Well, you've got to pass the bill.
Where's the wall?
You've got to pass the bill to find out what's in it.
That's why Trump got voted out.
It's pork that benefits the politicians is what's in it. I mean, like I'm only 49 years old and I already know they're all lying. Imagine getting out of the streets, sharing a bottle of champagne with other people because yay,
they're gonna lie to us about how corrupt they are again.
We get a new guy to lie to us.
I like the one meme. It said, Biden's elected, so no more kids in cages. And the bottom was like, no more media coverage of kids
in cages. That's right. Let's go to Pat calling in from Pennsylvania. Pat, you're on Free Talk Live.
Pat, good to talk to you. Hey, your suggestion earlier about they should take a citizenship test for voting, I think that's great because every red-blooded American knows that there are 50 American states.
Well, there are 50 states.
I don't know how.
I think it's going to be more than one
Obama
question.
managed to go to 57. So.
Well, that's right. Obama had the trail thing. You mentioned 57. Now, I think if you'd tacked on the territories or something, it did go to 57. So maybe that's what he's trying to say.
Well, maybe he just has secret information that we don't get.
He knows something we don't. But, and then while you were talking just a second ago here, Trump ran on what he actually accomplished in just 4 years, but for 47 years, Biden's been trying to get stuff done, even 8 years of vice president.
And the stuff he has gotten done is pretty distasteful.
He got a lot done.
Yeah. It's just yucky.
You know, the drug war, he had a big hand in that.
Right, and then he's going to be the one to end it because I've got an article here that says that apparently there's a bill in that the feds are going to get out of marijuana or something like that.
Sure they will.
Pat, thank you for the call.
All right.
Whoops. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free as in freedom. Let's go to Tom calling in from New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
There's going to be a referendum coming up in Maryland in 1864 on the adoption of a new state constitution that bans slavery. Now, the question is, should we accept the outcome as long as all the ballots are counted fairly?
Is this a hypothetical?
It sounds like a hypothetical. So
it's probably a historical hypothetical.
Referendum.
No, I would say that you should not accept the outcome if the outcome says that slavery should remain. I think that an upright individual would say slavery is wrong, even if you can get a half plus one of people to say that it isn't.
But wrong and legal have never gone hand in hand.
Well, they've gone. They have gone hand in hand, but they don't always. They seem to be incongruous.
Yes.
Now. Let me go on here to this. The voting took place, and it looked like it was narrowly defeated, but then the Union soldiers' ballots came in, and that put it over, and it passed. Meanwhile, the Confederate soldiers didn't get to vote. And that's not fair. But so what? Slavery is not fair. And in Maryland, the slaves were freed by using ballots. Meanwhile, in Virginia, the slaves were being emancipated by using bullets. In a
so
war
both are effective.
The war that was diverted into a war to free the slaves. It didn't start out as that,
No.
but that's what it turned into. But now,
It was sort of a war to keep the slaves, though. I mean, in all fairness, the Civil War and slavery, the American Civil War, whatever terminology you want to use, the War of Northern Aggression, however you want to call it, it was, although not like the slaves got a really crappy end of the deal in so much as the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free anybody inside the United States. Not a single slave already legally held in the United States was freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. Secondly, Sherman promises 40 acres and a mule to anybody who helps, any slave who helps them fight, and then doesn't give it to them.
Now, the other issue there, the slavery continued in Delaware until December 6, 1865, legally, and that's when the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution got ratified. Now, moving on, though, to something else. The election integrity also requires eliminating the ballot access requirements and start using ranked voting so people aren't afraid, instead of being afraid to vote for the best candidate and wind up voting for the second worst candidate, they would vote for the best candidate first and then rank them like that. And the way to handle election integrity, the issues that are coming up, is to print the ballots. Check printing firms are diversifying because people are using paper checks a lot less nowadays, but they could print the ballots with a serial number on it that's covered over when they issue these. And if your town gets 12,000 votes, 12,000 ballots, numbered 1 through 12,000, and then they're covered over, and you count them, yep, there's 12,000 of them here, and give them one to a customer, and then to make sure that you don't double count, to make sure that you don't run one stack through twice and another stack through not at all, you peel off the tape that covers over the serial numbers, you stamp it with a time clock, and put it face down on a flatbed scanner, and you make a high-resolution bitmap image of it, and that goes on the elections website, and everybody can check, and you wind up with a list of, here's all the serial numbers.
Yeah, you would know what your serial number was, and then you could check your ballot to see that it went through the way you would like it to.
So ballot's like a lotto scratcher. You scratch it off and it's either valid or invalid.
It's a scratcher. Hey, Tom, didn't they vote on ranked voting or something in Massachusetts this most recent election? Just a couple?
I think they did, but I don't know.
I thought it was Maine that
I
did
don't
it.
want to tell everybody else and have it turn out to be wrong, but
And
what you gotta
he's
do-
absolutely right about ranked choice voting being the only way that you can avoid having a two-party system.
Well, and can you imagine if people were upset that it took like a few days to count the ballots this way? If you had to go and tabulate ranked choice for
Don't do it
150
this way.
million?
I mean, honestly, so he's spelling out a much better system, but I mean, there's better systems than that are much easier to do using cryptography.
Well, here's a system that would be relatively easy: is you give everybody a blank ballot that just says the offices that people are running for, and then they can, if they can write in the name of the candidate, as long as you get close.
Well, then Joe Jorgensen would have got even less votes.
Well, she might have changed her name to Joe Jorg. Either way, I mean, just as long as you get close, then people, at the very least, they know what they're talking about, instead of just going in there and saying, oh, which ones have R's or D's behind their name. What a crappy way of deciding who gets to be in office. Free Talk Live.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have two convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our made in the USA microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part? Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. Mark with you.
Bigless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Go to the website at freetalklive.com. You can get archives there that go back. All you have to do is look for the, under archives and you'll find it. Or you can go to archives.freetalklive.com and you can get episodes that go back, almost 20 years. freetalklive.com. All for free. Let's go to D calling in from Tennessee. D, you're on Free Talk Live. D, whoops, I pushed the wrong, it's not D's fault. It's my fault. D, sorry, say it again.
Yes, I have a question for you guys. I want to know, do you see us as a capitalistic nation, do you see us trending towards communism with this incoming possible president? Hate to say it. But.
Well, tell me.
Define your terms.
Yeah, we're going to have term definitions here. I don't believe communism's possible on planet Earth. Not to say that people haven't tried it and wiped out millions in the process, but
I know two very common definitions of communism. So there's the utopia that we get to by sharing things.
Everybody shares everything.
And there's lots of socialism.
Yeah.
And usually people will use one of those or the other, more or less. So.
Yeah,
what
definitely socialism.
What's
definitely
that?
We're going to lose our inalienable rights. We'll lose our constitutional rights. We will be told when and where and what to do and how to do it. And
oh, you're referring to our republic then?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, that's long gone.
Yeah.
Long gone.
I think democracy naturally erodes rights because, people tend to think, well, I have 80% of people that agree with me on a particular issue, so, your rights don't matter.
I mean, I can't think of a single, of the Bill of Rights, I can't think of a single one that we still have. I mean, the last one to fall
was soldiers billeted in my house.
Not in your house, but if you had a hotel, they can order you to house them.
Yeah,
and have done it in the past. So yeah, no, we don't have rights anymore. They're gone. Now, as far as communism, I mean, oddly enough, Trump signed the CARES Act, which, from my understanding, that puts the Federal Reserve no longer as a private organization, but directly under the Treasury. So government control of the means of distribution is now a reality. And with his activities with GM, ordering them to make what they were already making, they control the means of production. So government control of the means of production, government control of the means of distribution. Do we need anything else to call it quits on that?
I see. Well, I think that as a whole, as a nation, we've been disobedient to God, and so that's why we have lost our rights. What do you think about that?
Well, you're not going to like what I think about it, I'll tell you that. So,
no, go ahead.
Jesus Christ came to earth for 33 years. I am to believe that Jesus is God, believing the standard Trinitarian belief system. And if that is so, God came to earth, did not do so much as write one thing down, and didn't mention that slavery was wrong and that one should wash their hands after going poop. I feel like there was a real window of opportunity lost there. So, no, I don't. That's not my look at it. I think that, in fact, rights are they are an indication of ownership. So I have the right to drive my car because I own my car. Somebody else doesn't have the right to drive my car because they don't own it. Rights spring from ownership. I own my body, therefore I can speak. I can have my own mind. I can, have my own religion inside of that mind. I can, do all kinds of things. The right to my own conscience. So to me, I think that it is up to us to defend rights, and historically, humans have been kind of bad at that.
If you want to get into the concept of rights, my general opinion on it is it stems from one of two things. Right, mutual agreement or ability to defend. Right, you have a right to drive your car because other people are going like, yeah, no, that's Mark's car. Yep. He can drive it. Or you have to defend your right to drive that car against their aggression, saying like, no, we're going to take that car from you, and you're not going to be able to drive it.
Indeed.
So
yeah, I think recognizing rights is the easiest way to avoid conflict.
Dee, I did filibuster on you. Please go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, that's okay. So do those rights, do they come from God or do they come from man?
Well, I've seen two possible completely different ways of looking at this, but they really do converge on property. So, I mean, you can see it from the all of our rights come from God, along with our gifts of, being able to think and speak. That's one way of looking at it. You can look at it a completely secular route, which basically goes into argumentation ethics, which is if we're going to have a conversation instead of something that isn't a conversation, then you've got to admit that it's my mouth and your mouth, and that I'm responsible for this mouth and you're responsible for that mouth. And if you just extrapolate that, then, okay, this is my body and I'm responsible for what it does. That's your body, you're responsible for what it does. So either way, you end up with self-ownership and property rights.
I believe that property rights were written into the fabric of the universe by God. Now, I don't necessarily believe any particular holy text that is ancient text that is in existence, but I kind of believe all of them to some extent. Like I take my little bits here and bits there. So I think God exists, certainly. And I'll say that, I'm a Christian in so much as I was my education came from Christianity here in the United States. The problem is that after that foundation that I have, I then begin to disagree with everybody who calls themselves a Christian, which makes them mad. And I don't want to make them mad, but, that's where we're at.
So as the resident atheist, I will say, no, not from God. I will say man's ability to defend.
Man's ability to defend. Thank you.
I'm going to have the same problem with God that we had with communist and that I have with capitalist is, what do you mean? Because different people saying that word will mean very different things.
Indeed. That's one of the issues. Dee, thank you so much for a really great conversation, though, because that brings it up. Some people just look at God as kind of the flow of life in the universe. And, I get it.
Some higher power of sorts.
It's a power higher than myself, right? I mean, time is going to, I can't remember what they call it. Entropy is going to exist after I am gone. Presumably I'm going. I am having my head chopped off and thrown into a soup kettle at alcor.org.
That is great.
Yeah. So maybe I'll be back. Presuming that they don't somehow figure out how to take my brain out and put it in a little jar that runs around on a robot body. I don't know.
Then you really would be the head in the jar example, and you would just be living your life as a head in a jar.
Yeah, why not? I mean, why not?
Well, I think the two of the most useful ways of looking at God are A, the highest ideal.
Okay.
And B, that thing that makes life possible in the universe.
Yeah.
So, there are certain principles that over a long period of time will make life continue to be possible. And that's basically what morality and ethics stems from, is over a long period of time, what works.
And what I struggle with is I know what works on planet Earth in dealing with human beings. Listening to a book called Sapiens, it's great read. Go ahead and check it out. I get my stuff on Audible, so I can, it's better than listening to music in the car. And in it, what they talk about is that the vast majority of people on the planet have an idea of what fairness is, and that they agree on what the fairness is.
Well, even rats have a certain idea of what fairness is, and they've measured that.
But there are a few societies that don't look at fairness at the same way, like they significantly deviate from the rest of us on what fairness is. And what my concern is do the aliens see morality and fairness the way that the vast majority of us humans on the planet Earth?
And again, that's why it would have to stem from a mutual agreement, because otherwise it deviates to violence at some point.
And does fairness allow the aliens to work better together?
Well, I'm hoping that's the case.
They fly in the same ship. They have the same uniforms. It clearly works better.
Because, I mean, that's the thing, right? Is violence, even to the biggest of among us, peakless mountaineer, or a sizable man, right? And in a fair fight, you're going to beat me, and just because of sheer God-given size.
Yeah, but you get 5 of you guys, and I might have trouble.
Right, or you turn around, hit you in the head with something, and suddenly I'm in charge. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Can you answer my question? Do aliens have the same morality that we do? Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Tension in the streets of our nation's capital. CJ Papa, Fox News. Violence and unrest in the streets of Washington, D.C. Police say they arrested at least 20 people, with the final numbers coming out later this morning. The Million MAGA March. Designed to show support for the president, and Mr. Trump driving by the throngs of people on his way to play golf at his club in Virginia. Plenty of legal wrangling from the president following the election on November 3rd. Georgia Congressman Doug Collins discussing what's happening in his state on Fox's Justice with Judge Janine.
We've got a problem down here. Legislature's going to have to address. The courts are going to have to address. You talked about the lawsuit that was filed. That'll be something that is going to have to be dealt with as well. But in the meantime, we're still down here fighting to make sure that we have every legal vote counted.
President-elect Joe Biden riding his bike Saturday at a park in Delaware.
Are you any closer to making a cabinet decision?
Yes. Mr. Biden expected to pick Michelle Flournoy as the first woman to serve as Secretary of Defense. SpaceX on track to launch later this evening. Fox's Edmund Brown takes a look.
The last SpaceX crewed flight, which caught the world's attention, was actually a test flight, and today's mission is truly the first in the contract NASA signed with the Elon Musk company. Having a private company handle launches frees NASA up for other things.
This will solidify our capabilities with the low Earth orbit, but we hope to, sort of
continue to focus on this, keep the space station operating, but then, work towards the lunar surface and eventually Mars.
Veteran astronaut Drew Feustel will be watching as his colleagues launch tonight just before 7:30 Eastern from the Kennedy Space Center. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Iota now the 13th hurricane of the 2020 Atlantic season. America is listening to Fox News.
2020 hasn't let up, but we have to keep this economy rolling. NetSuite will help your business make that happen. That's why over 21,000 companies, including Boll & Branch, makers of the world's softest sheets, choose NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place. We talked to David Reed, CFO of Boll & Branch, about how they use NetSuite.
Before NetSuite, we were stitched together with spreadsheets and hope. Now I have only one source of truth for our financials, HR, inventory, and supply chain. Because NetSuite is cloud-based, working from home didn't change a thing. We're still bringing affordable luxury into homes all across America. I'm now closing the books 5 to 10 times faster thanks to NetSuite.
Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
The city of New Orleans giving bars and restaurants a break by easing COVID-19 restrictions. Bars now have 25% capacity indoors, 100% outdoors, but bar owner Urian Hilton says his business is down.
It's been slow, It's been, people are scared to go to bars. We've done with the tables, socially distant the tables, and that's mainly encouraging people to drink outside.
California, Oregon, Washington issuing travel advisories asking people to self-quarantine for 14 days if they're heading to their states. The news just coming out, and travelers like Kathleen Schell, who just arrived at the airport in Seattle from the East Coast, didn't know about the new rules.
I actually did try to see if there was going to be some restrictions, and I didn't see anything because when you make the reservation, it didn't say anything about that.
Washington Governor Jay Inslee is holding a news conference later today. The Seattle Times reports the governor will ban indoor service at restaurants and bars and cut capacity at grocery stores and retail.
LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. As our contract with our satellite provider is coming up for another 3-year renewal, I have to consider calling it quits. It's rare that we get feedback or support from our satellite users. We started a fundraiser a few years ago, and though there are a bunch of great contributors to it, as of this recording, it covers 15% of our monthly satellite costs. Please email lrn@lrn.fm and tell me how you use the satellite feed. Better yet, chip in at fund.lrn.fm. The costs aren't the issue. We can afford them, but why continue something not valued by the market? Want to help? You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. Fund.lrn.fm.
U.S. officials assure Hong Kong that their protest is just one of many issues the White House is staying silent on, and an old guy at a hostel is down to party. This is the Onion Week in Review. Stunned officials from the Marine Conservation Institute announced this week that the past half-century of climate change and habitat loss somehow hasn't managed to take down the parrotfish. Biologists stress that despite destructive chemical runoff, rising ocean temperatures, and overfishing, the persistent little shits were somehow plugging right along like nothing had even happened.
You look at the oil spills, greenhouse gases, and God knows what else we're throwing at them, and you think, yeah, those subtropical should have been wiped out decades ago. But nope, these sons of bitches are still around and doing better than ever.
In other news, a grasshopper is dismembered by a future Supreme Court justice. A man having a great time will soon have to apologize to everyone. And Rand Paul pretends to be asleep so his dad will carry him in from the car.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. The number, 855-450-3733. Put it in your phone so you're ready the next time that you want to call in and you don't have to wait for the number. 855 450 free.
Put it on speed dial, so you just have to hold down the 2. Remember
Do
that?
they have speed dial?
I don't know.
I don't think we even have it anymore. I think you've got to. I mean, that's not how I dial my wife. I can tell you that.
Mine's got a favorites section.
Yeah.
I don't use it.
No?
Nah.
Yeah, I just kind of go to recents. I mean, I'm only talking to the same people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's Mom. There's Laura. Anyway, 855 450 free. Jack doesn't have a telephone number just because he doesn't want me to call him. Let's go to Pat calling in from Michigan.
He just doesn't give it to you.
Right? Like his little 12-year-old friends have it. I don't have it. Grateful little kid. Pat, you're on Free Talk Live.
All right. You guys there now?
I'm here. Sorry.
We've been here.
All right. That's all right. I heard you cackling. It's, anyway, I think any school system that's funded by tax dollars, so that would be our high schools and our colleges, before you can
And elementary
graduate,
and middle.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, before you can get a diploma, though, you should have to be able to pass a citizenship test. And that would make these colleges and high schools teach the Constitution like they should.
Well, I think that was designed.
I think that makes a certain amount of sense. So you would the citizenship exam exists, and we can't argue that. I mean, it's right there, and it doesn't get changed too much. Well, and if a kid can't pass it in order to get a diploma or a degree,
if they made it part of that requirement, they would dumb down the citizenship test.
Well, and there used to be civics classes. They used to be a thing. Now it's social studies, and they don't teach you civics. Like, they don't want you to know how this works. You might change things.
Well, when I did learn civics, they lied. You know, they said all kinds of things that simply weren't true. So, I mean, yeah, I probably know more because I took civics class. Go ahead, Pat.
Don't we want our own graduates to be at least as smart as the immigrants coming in? I mean, you know, this
doesn't
is
matter
for the
to me.
betterment of our country here and our children, and we're paying for this with our property taxes. So we're right back to the landholder issue too.
If the immigrants are smarter, hire the immigrants.
Well, it doesn't matter whether the immigrants are smarter or not. What he's claiming is that a government school paid for with government money, our money, ought to give the government citizenship exam in order to allow graduation. And, you know, it's kind of it's a pretty strong position.
Well, he also just said, do we want the immigrants to be smarter than our, local graduates? No, I don't care.
Well, yeah, but you don't care about much.
Well educated. How about that?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, we send these kids to these indoctrination camps for over a decade. And
you'd think we'd get something out of it.
What skills do they possess at the end of this?
Right. Knife fighting,
Nothing.
cussing.
Knife fighting might be a useful skill in the not too distant future.
Indeed, Pat. Usually I just people call in with their ideas and I just shoot them down. But
when they take your guns away, that blade's going to come in handy.
Pat, thank you for the call.
I definitely think that it's worth educating children in civics and history and how government works.
I just wish government school did that.
I wish government school educated people.
But would you take my tax dollars to educate those kids?
Would I take yours?
They're already being taken.
Wouldn't.
Understood. But if you want kids educated, you should bear the responsibility for educating them.
Agreed. But...
Well, I'm also not going to teach children not to, beat people up and take their stuff by beating people up and taking their stuff.
Let's go to Jerome calling in from South Carolina. Jerome, you're on Free Talk Live.
Trump 2024.
Hey, you think Trump could pass the citizenship test?
I don't know, but if he couldn't, I don't think he should be president.
You know what? I got $50 here. There ain't no way in hell he'd pass a citizenship test.
I don't think that we'll ever get a chance to see it, but just to see it, Jerome, I'd take the other side of the bet. I wouldn't mind losing $50 just to see whether Donald Trump could pass the citizenship
Trump
exam.
would have the most exceptional citizenship score.
He's the best American,
citizenship
the greatest
score.
American.
It's a tremendous test. No one passes it better than Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, you know how he'd pass it? He'd get his sister to take it for him. That's what he'd do. The one that's the judge.
Well, if you want to find out...
She used to do his homework for him.
I should have changed my name to Trump as soon as he got elected and then just see if I could get some kind of government appointment job and a sweet, sweet paycheck.
Yeah.
If you want to find out if he can pass a test, make sure that it will make him more famous than he is now, and he will do anything to do that.
Oh, you think he's the most brilliant person
Brilliant.
you've ever listened to?
No.
Self-declared, man.
You think he's the most brilliant person you've ever listened to, huh?
No.
He's one of the dumbest people I've ever listened to.
I wouldn't
And
go
I've
that
listened
far.
to some pretty dumb ones over my years. We got one here in Charleston that's pretty dumb.
The fact that you're missing the humor and satire in some of our responses, Jerome, leads me to believe that that's not all that true.
I tend to. So I think that this is the attack, right? It's just one of them. If these people manage to get wherever they are, they must be at the very least somewhat above average intelligence.
Yeah,
if we know their
dips
name,
his toe in politics and ends up with the highest office in the nation. I mean, he's no dummy.
he also switched parties to do it. I mean,
True.
Oh,
you know,
thank God for that. Thank God. Y'all can have him.
well,
All you 71 million Republicans that voted for him, damn it, you can have
I
him,
maintain
Sam.
he is still a 1980s Democrat.
There,
like he has the exact policies and positions of a 1980s Democrat, which makes him extremely conservative for a Republican now.
He's a phony. No, he's a phony. Okay.
Did you see the episode of? I think it was the episode of Alpha House on. It's an Amazon show with John Goodman, who's one of my favorite actors ever. Where they read Ronald Reagan quotes to conservative Republicans, and they just went bananas.
I believe it. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's like you said, the man on the street interviews where they go like, "Oh, do you agree with these policies?" And they will agree if it's with their preferred candidate or politician.
Go ahead, Jerome.
Disagree if it's
Reagan
not.
was just as dumb as him because he didn't even know he had poor people in this country. How dumb is that?
Oh,
We think everybody's an actor off of TV.
I just can't believe that Ronald Reagan. No, I'm going to have to disagree. Now, if you were rattling off Democrat names too, I'm going to disagree on that. I tend to, I think that Bill Clinton was brilliant. I think that Jimmy Carter is one of. Frankly, I think Jimmy Carter is probably the best president we've had in the last century.
No, Bill Clinton wasn't brilliant because he didn't even know what sex is. Okay, depending on what the meaning of is.
No,
look, that was a brilliant response to not answer the question.
Yeah, that was the best. The best
also,
thing you could do.
I mean, legal arguments are not the same as human arguments.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Sure.
Hey,
well, look,
have you seen what people do in court? It's a different language.
The worst thing that Bill Clinton did was cheat on his wife in the White House.
And lie about it.
That's what it's called.
He did shoot some cruise missiles at an aspirin factory. I'm not real happy about
that. Seems like a lot worse than cheating.
He was a mass murdering war profiteer. I forget about that.
Yeah.
Because,
Hey, by the way,
thank you, Peakless, when you said the worst thing he did.
Dropped more bombs than any president has ever been in the White House.
Well,
I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm still trying to find the veracity of this. It seems like
I looked it up several times.
Okay.
Even if that's true, just give Biden a few years, and then he'll be the one who drops the most bombs on brown countries in the history of ever.
Sure.
Trump dropped more bombs than George Bush, who invaded two countries.
Barack Obama
Yes.
combined.
I think he's actually correct about this.
Believe it.
No, I think he's actually right
looked
about
it up
this.
several times. I know you don't.
So far,
believe
every president drops more
Democrat.
bombs than the ones before.
Hold on, Jerome.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What?
I said you don't want to believe that because Republicans are just the nicest people you'll ever meet. Right?
Didn't I just mention George Bush starting 2 wars?
We also said we believed it. So, but give Biden some time, and he'll take that mantle.
You got 2 to 1. 2 to 1 here.
I'll bet you, Jerome, Biden will, assuming he takes the mantle, he will drop more bombs than anyone before him
in a shorter amount of time.
I'll take that bet.
But Trump 2024, return of the Magi.
How much you want to bet?
Call in next week and make the bet with him, Jerome. Appreciate the call.
Bitcoin.
Wow, that's a pretty big bet right now, man.
Free Talk Live, 855 450 free.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin breaks 16,000 as Congress is poised to pump even more unbacked dollars into the market. John McAfee pumps Ghost, his crypto token, from prison. Threats from the SEC ignored. New Wyoming Congresswoman is a Bitcoin holder. Law enforcement moves long dormant Silk Road Bitcoin billion. Trump and Biden tied over who stinks more for crypto. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies. Getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news. Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to divvyproject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from divvyproject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. divvyproject.org. D-I-V-I project.org.
What if the United States and the Soviet Union had fought on land, sea, air, and the astral plane, struggled for dominion across parallel dimensions, or on the surface of the moon? What wonders would have been unveiled? What terrors would have haunted mankind from those dark and dismal dimensions? Come closer, peer through a glass darkly, and discover the horrifying alternative visions of World War III from some of today's greatest minds in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Weird World War III. Available now from Baen Books at baenbooks.com.
Every year, over 1 million fires burn in America. Fortunately, firefighters are on the job, saving life and property, and you can be a part of it. 7 out of 10 firefighters and emergency responders are volunteers. There's no typical firefighter. Anyone can volunteer to serve their community. Volunteering as a first responder is really about having the heart and drive to make a difference where it's needed most. Your community needs you. Are you ready to answer the call? Learn more and find local volunteer opportunities at makemeafirefighter.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones. I mean, I read the title of this article. Let me read it here again for those.
Which I think an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. A top Biden staffer accused Facebook of shredding the fabric of our democracy, yet another sign the social media giant should fear the new administration. And I don't think we've read one word of the article here from Business Insider.
If they get shut down, the first time you read the whole title, actually.
if Facebook gets shut down by the Biden administration, serves them right for not allowing the Russian interference for the Trump support.
Yeah. I can't believe that was the argument. We got Donald Trump because of Russian memes. I mean, seriously?
I mean, you call into question the intellect of voters, so yes, seriously. It doesn't take much.
Let's go to Padrang, calling in from New Mexico. Did I pronounce that correctly? Padrang?
No, sir. It's Padraig.
Padraig. Okay, thank you.
Padraig. Yeah, thank you for taking my call. There's so much I want to talk about, but let's talk about New Mexico. New Mexico, I've been here I immigrated when I was 6 from Ireland, and I've lived in New Mexico predominantly for most of my life. And I see New Mexico, and I wonder what's going on with the people here. We have a governess who's going to lock us down again, take away Thanksgiving. And New Mexico, I can't believe that they would vote for her, because New Mexico is predominantly Spanish, and Spanish people enjoy their families. And we have a lot of Native Americans where I'm from, and they predominantly hang out with their families.
But do they celebrate American Thanksgiving?
No, I'm talking
because
about
you can cancel Thanksgiving and still hang out with your
the
family.
pot-bellied pig.
Yeah, I think that it's illustrative what's happened to this country, in so much as politicians don't seem to have a problem suggesting that we should just cancel Thanksgiving. I mean, the hubris of anybody even suggesting this to the American people. I don't know that it was possible before COVID.
Well, but they
Neither
saw how
did
effective it was during
I
COVID.
didn't either, because we just seemed to have, if Michelle Lujan Grisham was going to go arrest everybody or cite everybody, every restaurant that broke the rules, she wouldn't be able to do it. But we have these people, if you ever look at New Mexico State Police, and I'm not down talking them or anything, because I was part of that tribe at one time. They have their black uniforms on. I wish that they would kind of back off on people who are just doing their constitutional rights a little bit and start looking for, like, Jeffrey Epstein had a ranch down here.
Right.
I mean, I think Bill Richardson was implicated in some deal here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in New Mexico that I think the state police could probably be more useful or helpful with solving crime. I mean, New Mexico, Albuquerque is like 5th in the nation as far as crime goes, and we're like 49th as far as education goes.
What if you had your Thanksgiving outdoors? I mean, New Mexico is probably going to be pretty dry and perhaps pretty warm.
Well, then you're really going to show them where you're at. Then they know who to storm first.
Yeah, but you're
not. Oh, look,
That's
there's
okay,
20
that's
people
okay.
in the yard. Let's go to that house and shut them
Somebody
down.
at some point is going to have to stand up. I'm an old man. Old men should stand up because we've already lived most of our life.
Well, young men
had
should
a lot
also
of
stand
fun.
up because they're able to.
What's that?
I said young men should also stand up because they're able to.
I've given up on the idea that people are going to stand up. They took away our faces and no one complained. They took away our faces and no one complained.
I think the younger generation either don't know or they just don't want to be informed. I've seen kids that are 30 years old living with mom and dad. That was unheard of in my time.
That's true.
Well,
yeah, things have certainly changed for the millennials.
Maybe not. My dad was, I lived with my dad and my grandparents well into my dad's 30s or so before we moved out on our own. So, and that was probably closer to your time.
Padraig, if I have that right. Thank you for the call.
Well, there was a pretty sizable wealth transfer from the youth right about that time.
Yeah.
It seems like it's harder for the millennials. And then what are we calling the generation that's after the millennials?
I like Zoomers.
What's that?
I like Zoomers.
Zoomers? Okay.
Zennials is one that gets tossed out there.
Zennial is somebody who's between a Gen Xer and a millennial.
Okay.
So there's a sub-generation that's right on the edge. Ian, in fact, is a Zennial.
Okay.
So anyone want to place bets on whether or not they'll tell us how to do Christmas?
No, because they're going to try to shut that down too. They already took away Merry Christmas. It's already Happy Holidays. What more do you want them to do, Lee?
The pitchforks and torches haven't come out over Thanksgiving, so I'm going to go ahead and take, yes, they will tell us how to do Christmas.
If they let us have one at all.
So as vague as it can possibly be, there's certain times where certain constitutional rights should be exercised to prevent these things from occurring.
You've got to have it outside, and we will allow you this time to have shoes on.
If you have it outside, they're going to target you first, man.
You must have a manger. Let's go to Skip calling in from South Carolina. Skip, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello there. How you doing?
All's well.
I just want to say that Ronald Reagan was the greatest president we ever had,
He was the gold standard of presidents, whereas Barack Obama was the antithesis. Barack Obama hated America.
Well, that's just
and
racist.
Joe Biden hates America. We shouldn't have people that hate America run for president. We should have another Donald Trump.
What evidence do you have that Barack Obama hated America?
Barack Obama hated America. If you don't know
The fact that he wasn't born here.
He hated America. He hated whites. He hated everything. Every speech Barack Obama ever made was an anti-American rant. He went to Germany to apologize for America. Now, what kind of presidential candidate does that?
I don't remember what he apologized in Germany for, so I'd have to hear more about it. But
he apologized for us taking down Hitler, and he apologized for taking down the Berlin Wall, and he hated America.
What? That sounds like terrible things to apologize for.
I need more evidence. For the record, I think that the finest president in American history is William Henry Harrison.
The one that died after
one speech. One speech, then pneumonia and death, and I think that every single president should really look to his shining example.
I think it bears mentioning here that I am a jelly donut. Thanks for the call, Skip.
I don't even know what that means.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Oh, okay.
So there's a wonky bit about German where if you say ein Berliner instead of Berliner, then you're referring to a particular pastry.
A pastry that is jelly-filled.
Kind of like hamburgers and our people from Hamburg.
Got it.
Yeah. I am a hamburger. I am hamburger. Right.
Yeah.
I got it. I never really heard a good English translation, sort of a comparison and what it would be like, but I get it now. Going on from this, or starting this article from Business Insider here, a top advisor to President-elect Joe Biden has torn into Facebook in a thread on Twitter. If you thought disinformation on Facebook was a problem during our election, just wait until you see how it's shredding the fabric of our democracy in the days after. Bill Russo, a deputy communications director in the Biden campaign press team, tweeted late Monday. So maybe it's not so good for, big tech that Biden won. 855-450-3733. What do you think? Free Talk Live.
Pork chop. His coat is very thick. He's an Akita, German Shepherd, Lab, Husky mix. Harold, the Border Collie pit mix, has the most beautiful jet black coat. Stuart, my rat terrier, has fur now where he never had it before. DINOVITE.com. Dinovite will give them a beautiful, lustrous coat. It will make you smile.
You get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
USA Radio News with Dan Naraki.
As the U.S. passes 11 million coronavirus cases, several states are enacting tougher restrictions trying to control outbreaks, with many questioning if the entire nation should adopt that strategy. Dr. Anthony Fauci doesn't believe we're headed for a national lockdown. The director of the
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We're live here any day, every day, 7 days a week. 360, well, not 365 days a year. There are days when we do on-location recorded shows, but
there's a new show 365 days a year.
You got a 99%, 98% chance of hitting us.
Years.
That's right. Exactly.
On average, 365 days a year.
No, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well, because of the leap year. You do an extra show, then you scale one back.
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
There's when we go and do the Fork Fest shows, we're there for 2 weeks.
But that's still a new show.
We do a new show, but you can't call in to every show.
Okay.
But you can most of the time. The number is 855-450-3733, and the times are from 7p to 10p Eastern Time. If you're out there in Chamorro Standard Time or something like that, you'll have to figure it out. By the way, that's 15 hours ahead.
What a miserable time
13
zone
hours
that
ahead.
is. 15.
Chamorro?
Might be 14 now.
Yeah. Interestingly, Chamorro Standard Time. So Chamorro Standard Time is where the U.S. Marianas and Guam are on that time.
It's where the word tomorrow comes from.
No, it doesn't.
Because it's tomorrow.
No, I don't believe you.
Okay.
And
tomorrow standard
you lived
time.
in Hawaii, which is interesting, the closest state, U.S. state to Saipan, but you have to go across the international date line. So if you leave Saipan in the morning and land in the, around noontime in Hawaii,
You've
land
gone back a day.
Yeah, a day back.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how you time travel.
I don't know if it works quite that way. Let's go back to this story from Business Insider talking about how it could be that big tech could be facing some problems from the new Biden administration, the third Obama term. Russo, this is Biden's campaign, communications director from deputy communications director from his campaign press team. Russo then attacked Facebook over the course of 8 tweets for allowing violent and misleading content to flourish on the platform the week following Election Day. He referred to a video in which Steve Bannon called for the head of Dr. Anthony Fauci and the proliferation of Stop the Steal Facebook groups. And
what a
Stop
great
the Steal
concept.
is a terrible name because Stop the steal,
because Biden is stealing the election, Mark.
Stop the stealing.
Stop the steal.
Stop the theft.
Sure. That's not very alliterative.
That doesn't alliterate.
It doesn't alliterate, but I think we've gone a little too far. That's what I'm saying. Stop and steal are alliterative.
Not until Trump begins his second term. We have not gone far enough.
This is Russo, specifically.
So 2024 maybe?
Return of the bad guy.
No, he's not coming back in 2024.
I don't know. Trump and Garfield. It's got a ring to it.
I think Trump is probably going to hook up with some conservative media organization and just skyrocket them.
Oh yeah, like was it Newsmax? He's already abandoned Fox, and was it Newsmax? Like
Newsmax sounds like a good choice for him.
And I think they've already they're in the process of offering him a deal of some kind for his own show.
I'm old enough to I remember when Newsmax was libertarian.
Okay,
I still
he'll
think
have
that,
a platform.
Assuming that he doesn't somehow pull a rabbit out of a hat on this next administration.
If they stop the steal, you mean?
Yeah,
Continue.
Indeed. If they ceased the theft.
Ceased the theft.
Put that on a t-shirt.
He specifically criticized Facebook's decision to allow posts from President Donald Trump labeled as misinformation to be widely shared, whereas Twitter placed restrictions on labeled tweets, meaning that they couldn't be retweeted. Now, okay, so if you go to any news organization here, let's take a nice liberal one like NPR. They'll put one person on talking about their opinion and call that news content all day long. And they won't have a libertarian or a Republican or somebody there rebutting what is said.
Sure.
I mean, I just listened to some talking head last night. Wasn't even talking head, talking voice last night. This lady yicking and yakking about how Trump is destroying America, even as he's going out.
They won't even have someone further left saying what they think about it.
Right. It's just they just have whatever they say, and that. So I mean,
you only need one person to deliver the facts.
if you can let some nameless idiot working for a school come on and talk about something, then why not let the President of the United States of America, while he's still the president, get to have a tweet? I mean, this Russo guy's like, the president shouldn't be able to tweet anymore. He's not. He lost the election.
Because he has way more influence.
Speaking really newsworthy.
Well, that's the thing.
It's not something that you should stop every other program to let him talk for.
No, I don't think that you should, but I think it's I think that the media is probably going to come relatively soon to the realization they just effed themselves by the way they just went after Trump mercilessly and finally got him out. Because you will not get me to believe that the media wasn't somehow in collusion with the Democratic Party to get Trump out. And I mean, that guy was entertaining, and he made a lot of news.
But now
what are y'all going to do now?
Go after the Congress. They're gonna avoid Biden, and they're gonna blame anything that Biden doesn't get done on the Republicans in Congress.
Well,
that's what they do.
Maybe that's what they'll do. I don't know.
Well, I think you have a point as far as newspapers are dead. Television was dying, but then we had Trump, and then we had COVID. So who's not glued to their seats watching TV for Orange Man? I mean, love him or hate him, and there's pretty much everyone in one of those two camps. You're going to hang on every word of that wonderful/terrible person.
Just waiting for the press conference where he unleashes the Proud Boys.
And then...
Go on, Proud Boys, make me proud.
That comment right there got me a 24-hour ban on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that. And this is and Facebook and the rest of the social media has been really hyper vigilant. So it says Facebook began limiting the spread of posts rather than just flagging them on Thursday. They just went after the algorithm.
Okay.
I mean, this is the thing is I cannot. It's hard for me to not think of Facebook as a free speech platform, as a speech platform, because I believe that that's what they've sort of purported themselves to be. And then they decide, well, what you can say and what you can't.
Sure. And okay, so in fairness, Twitter was more the free speech platform early on. And what happened was the trolls took over, and it made it very difficult for the average user to have an effective and positive experience on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you're marketing your service, right, are you marketing it towards the trolls, or is it better to get the average Joe to look at all the ads on Twitter or Facebook? And so what happens is they go, you want the average person to use your platform, not have it be a cesspool for trolls. And what you have to do is make that experience positive for the average person by banning and limiting what the trolls can say. So it loses its free speech aspect of it, but it's also a more positive experience for the average user. And that's what they go after.
It gets, it got its ubiquity as a free speech platform.
Because early on it was.
And I thought that they sort of had a brilliant idea. Make people responsible for what they say, in so much as their names are there.
Well,
it used to be under BBS's, people would come in with their name, Big Kahuna or whatever, and then they'd say whatever they said, and you couldn't hold anybody responsible for anything, and that was that.
Chat handles was the beauty of the internet.
Well, the anonymity.
And Facebook, from what I understand, used to actually show you what people said. And then they introduced an algorithm because I guess partially because it just became too darn popular to just show you everything that every one of your friends said. So they had an algorithm so that, okay, we'll show you the things that we think will catch your attention, the things that will get most of the
get you
views.
Excited.
Yeah.
Right. So they can intersperse an ad as you're scrolling, and then you see ads every 9
At that point, it is no longer a free speech platform. It is an echo chamber, a digital perfect echo chamber.
Well, what Facebook found was that it was better to show people things they disagreed with because they'll fight, and when they fight, they stay on there. And I find this is true. The last time I made the mistake of commenting on Facebook, right? I was there for probably a couple hours trying to, speak sense to this person.
Somebody is wrong on the internet.
And the conclusion I keep coming to is that this is a bad idea. Commenting on anything on these social media platforms is a bad idea. Whereas, on the radio, you might get heard by, it's 200 radio stations across the country. You're going to get heard by a lot of people. Whereas on Facebook, here you are fighting it out for how many people are actually going to read this thread.
Not many.
Not a dozen. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
At 58 years of age, I noticed a dramatic energy decline. After a 5-day work week, I had to use one of my days off to rest and recover. I also had cut my gym visits down from 3 times a week to once a week. Since I began using Green Meadow Way, my energy level has greatly improved. I no longer have to take a day to recover. I have increased my gym visits back to 3 times a week. I'm actually more active and feeling better now than I have in the last 5 years. It's so nice to wake up in the morning feeling good and ready to go. Before trying Green Meadow Way, I must have tried every whey protein product on the market, and every one of them caused me bloating, gas, and constipation. I've had no such issues with Green Meadow Way. In fact, I'm sleeping better, my vision has improved, and surprisingly, my emotional and mental state has also improved. I love what Green Meadow Way has done for me.
Green Meadow Way comes from milk derived from grass-pastured cows. To order, call 888-988-3325 or visit greenmeadowway.com.
Get healthy, not high, with 100% pure CBD powerful natural pain relief from Veterans Vitality. GCN listeners, have you ever thought about how CBD may help you? I'm sure you have heard about the many benefits of CBD. Well, here's your opportunity to try before you buy. Created by veterans and for everyone who deserves better choices, our CBD is derived from organic hemp, grown in the USA and third-party tested. Veterans Vitality CBD saves you as much as 25 to 50% over our competition, and a portion of all sales is contributed to veteran nonprofits and events. Many of our customers have experienced improved quality of life, help with anxiety, PTSD, and overall well-being. Our products do not contain THC. They are safe, non-addictive, effective, and 100% legal. GCN listeners, get your free trial bottle of premium CBD by simply paying shipping and handling at GCNFreeCBD.com. That's GCNFreeCBD.com. Again, GCNFreeCBD.com. Offered by Veterans Vitality Premium CBD.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We're talking about, right now, you can call in and talk about anything you want, but we're talking about sort of what's going to happen in the future regarding big tech and Facebook, Twitter, Google, these platforms under a Biden administration. So,
they will thrive. Because that's what they wanted.
Well, one of their communication director guys, not real happy.
I'm just betting on they will be integrated into the federal system.
The Borg. I want to tell you about AnyPay. I went to a restaurant this evening, and we often do this on a Sunday night here in Keene, New Hampshire. It's called Social Sundays. We have it at a restaurant called, hold on.
Say it slowly.
Fa Keene Great.
PKG as the locals call it.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of soup. Fa. And so while I was there, I got to pay in cryptocurrency. I used my Edge wallet to pay, and they used AnyPay to receive it. Now, they didn't ask me which currency I was using. I did happen to use Dash to pay, but their QR code came up, and my wallet scanned it without them knowing which currency it was. So it just, was seamless and very easy. Didn't have to worry about, talking about which currency we're using or anything like that. Just happens. So the same QR code could have been scanned by a Bitcoin Cash wallet or a Bitcoin wallet or Bitcoin SV, and it would all have worked. And it's great. AnyPay, if you're going to accept cryptocurrency at your business, AnyPay really is the best choice. So go to anypayinc.com. That's anypayinc.com. And if you like AnyPay and you want businesses to accept it, it's probably a good idea to get a hold of Koinomi, which is a very popular wallet that is, for whatever reason, not compatible with AnyPay. They got to make a little programming change, and they have decided not to do it. Edge Wallet, which is one of the more popular wallets, absolutely compatible, and they think it's worth doing.
Competition in the marketplace.
Yeah, we'll see. Koinomi could just go ahead and make it easy on themselves. But, and we'll see. And a letter from you would probably help. Anypayinc.com. Let's go to BP, calling in from South Carolina. BP, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, boys. How y'all tonight?
All's well. What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm going to tell you, I'm 63 now.
All right.
And
keeps changing every year. It's outrageous.
I know.
I mean, how am I supposed to remember this stuff?
I know. You got to stay up on it, right?
I mean, you want to know my birth year? It doesn't change. You do the math. What are you asking me to do the math for?
You could celebrate the anniversary every once in a while.
I swear. And there's something, and y'all clinched me on it about a half hour ago, so I thought I'd call. But people are becoming so ruthless in today's day and time. I mean, in just the past maybe 4, 5, 6 months, people are just around here now, okay, are going crazy.
Well, that's because Trump made it okay to be mean to people.
That's what the Democrats say.
Yeah.
But they're mean to people.
Right. But now it's okay. You had to hide it before. Now you can be outright and open about it.
No, I don't.
I swear I got a almost broken paw now because of people tailgating and cussing and fussing and giving you the finger and stuff.
Did you have a politician's bumper sticker on the back of your car? Is that what's going on?
No. I swear I was going to tell you that too. No bumper stickers on my retired police car. It's
maybe they just thought it was an unretired police car and they were giving the finger to the man.
I don't. It's a bad idea.
But
they were trying to defund you.
You drive down the road at 5-10 miles over the speed limit, and they're passing you on double yellows and giving you the finger when they go past, and not just one. There'll be 2 or 3 here in a second.
Well, I think those lockdowns had a lot to do with the agitation of just ordinary people in this country.
People are pissed. Are upset about lockdowns because they lost a lot of money, they lost their job, they lost a lot of things because of these lockdowns.
Right.
Then they can't see the smile on the next guy's face because it's all covered up.
Especially when you're driving with a mask on.
Yeah. Hey, but I want to tell you what I call it. I swear. Now, y'all have watched zombie movies before, I'm sure. I'm not a zombie movie guy.
I think they were.
Seen them.
I think they were programming us for a way of thought.
I swear to gosh, I call it zombie flu.
Zombie flu?
When zombie flu, instead of like the zombie virus or COVID-19 virus or whatever.
The kung flu.
I call it zombie flu. When people are just acting like they're like they just smoked some kind of rock or something. I swear, people are just so ignorant and ruthless around here.
You take their face away, man, and that's what you get.
Yeah, we're programmed to see faces 100%, and that makes us, the not seeing it. This is just an experiment in, the human condition. And who benefits? Well, if everybody's upset with each other, the government is there as the mediator. They're the one keeping the glue of society together. A happy society doesn't need the government, but a sad one absolutely does. So, yeah, they do benefit. Everybody who works for the state benefits from this. Now, I'd say the cops probably benefit the least in so much as they're probably dealing with more domestic disputes and people just being, angry and stupid to each other. Just a guess. As a matter of fact, I'd like to know about that if you're a law enforcement officer and you're dealing with people. What's it like now compared to a year ago? Just curious.
Tensions are higher.
855-450. Thank you for the call, BP. 855-450-FREE. I didn't finish the thought there with the telephone number. 855-450-3733. Going on with the article from Business Insider about Facebook and big tech dealing with the Biden administration. We knew this would happen. Russo, this is a Biden campaign bigwig. We knew this would happen, Russo's thread concluded. We pleaded with Facebook for over a year to be serious about these problems. They have not. Our democracy is on the line. We need answers. The Russians are making memes.
Terrible.
It's insane. This isn't the first.
The very idea that someone who isn't American would have speech.
Right. In America.
Or that other foreign entities would try to influence an election for your country?
Americans could see the thoughts of non-Americans.
This isn't the first time Russo has come after Facebook. On Sunday, he reposted a tweet from the actor Sacha Baron Cohen, whose movie I saw and pales in comparison to his first shot at Borat, with a picture of Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg shaking Donald Trump's hand, captioned, "One down, one to go." I mean, okay.
He's not even American.
Sacha Baron Cohen also is teamed up with Amazon.
Okay.
As if he isn't kissing the ring of big tech. He just has a side.
Sure.
The fact that Russo has now doubled down with a lengthy threat. Oh, excuse me. Russo added to the words "hell yeah" to his retweet, which was quickly deleted. The fact that Russo has now doubled down with a lengthy thread detailing Facebook's failures is an ominous sign for social media, for the social media giant, which is surely preparing for attempts to regulate it by a Biden administration.
Well, and Facebook has come forward and is asking for regulation. Right.
Well, and that's the thing. Any large company loves regulation.
Yeah, they
in their
benefit
industry.
from it.
Understood why they're doing it.
Regulation is the most effective way to keep your competition out of the market. Because I can conform to whatever crazy regulation you want. I've got a team of lawyers making sure that every single thing that we do is exactly how this regulation says it. So if you don't have a team of lawyers doing that, then you can't get into the market. Sorry.
We said it before, is that Facebook got where it got by being much more of a free speech platform than it is today. But now it is ubiquitous and everybody's got an account almost. And so they're not likely to lose their market share in the same way. So now they want the regulations so that the young upstarts that are coming along can't compete by being a free speech platform. I know the Republicans have all rushed off to one of these
Parlay, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah,
Mark says Parler.
Yeah, I said parlor. I don't know how you would say it. I don't propose to know anything.
It's a French word. It's fine. They climb the ladder and then they cut the rungs out from underneath them so no one can follow.
One of the other theories I heard about Facebook asking for regulation is they know that the state is incompetent at regulating, so they're passing the buck. They're like, well, we're just waiting for you to pass the regulations.
That's a very good point.
And then nothing gets done and they can continue to operate as they were.
Your thoughts, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Tension in the streets of our nation's capital. CJ Papa, Fox News. Violence and unrest in the streets of Washington, D.C. Police say they arrested at least 20 people, with the final numbers coming out later this morning. The Million MAGA March. Designed to show support for the president, and Mr. Trump driving by the throngs of people on his way to play golf at his club in Virginia. Plenty of legal wrangling from the president following the election on November 3rd. Georgia Congressman Doug Collins discussing what's happening in his state on Fox's Justice with Judge Janine.
We've got a problem down here. The legislature's going to have to address. The courts are going to have to address. You talked about the lawsuit that was filed. That'll be something that is going to have to be dealt with as well. But in the meantime, we're still down here fighting to make sure that we have every legal vote counted.
President-elect Joe Biden riding his bike Saturday at a park in Delaware.
Are you any closer to making a cabinet decision?
Yes.
Mr. Biden expected to pick Michelle Flournoy as the first woman to serve as Secretary of Defense. SpaceX on track to launch later this evening. Fox's Eben Brown takes a look.
The last SpaceX crewed flight, which caught the world's attention, was actually a test flight, and today's mission is truly the first in the contract NASA signed with the Elon Musk company. Having a private company handle launches frees NASA up for other things.
This will solidify our capabilities with the low Earth orbit. But we hope to, sort of continue to focus on this, keep the space station operating, but then, work towards the lunar surface and eventually Mars.
Veteran astronaut Drew Feustel will be watching as his colleagues launch tonight just before 7:30 Eastern from the Kennedy Space Center. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Iota now the 13th hurricane of the 2020 Atlantic season. America is listening to Fox News.
2020 hasn't let up, but we have to keep this economy rolling. NetSuite will help your business make that happen. That's why over 21,000 companies, including Boll & Branch, makers of the world's softest sheets, choose NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place. We talked to David Reed, CFO of Boll & Branch, about how they use NetSuite.
Before NetSuite, we were stitched together with spreadsheets and hope. Now I have only one source of truth for our financials, HR, inventory, and supply chain. Because NetSuite is cloud-based, working from home didn't change a thing. We're still bringing affordable luxury into homes all across America. I'm now closing the books 5 to 10 times faster thanks to NetSuite.
Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
The city of New Orleans giving bars and restaurants a break by easing COVID-19 restrictions. Bars now have 25% capacity indoors, 100% outdoors, but bar owner Urian Hilton says his business is down.
It's been slow, people are scared to go to bars. We've done with the tables, socially distant the tables, and that's mainly encouraging people to drink outside.
California, Oregon, Washington issuing travel advisories asking people to self-quarantine for 14 days if they're heading to their states. The news just coming out, and travelers like Kathleen Schell, who just arrived at the airport in Seattle from the East Coast, didn't know about the new rules.
I actually did try to see if there was going to be some restrictions, and I didn't see anything because when you make the reservation, it didn't say anything about that.
Washington Governor Jay Inslee is holding a news conference later today. The Seattle Times reports the governor will ban indoor service at restaurants and bars and cut capacity at grocery stores and retail.
The Surgeon General warns teens the cinnamon challenge is not for pussies. Taylor Swift is now dating the Watertown boat, and a middle-aged funeral director buys a flashy red hearse. We pity your pathetic dependence on this for your weekly news, but here we go anyway. This is the Onion Week in Review. A study released this week by the National Institutes of Health confirmed that for the 25th straight year, wolf attacks remain the leading cause of death in the United States. The Human Health Agency's findings confirmed that being viciously killed by a ravenous wolf claimed the lives of over 800,000 Americans last year alone, with researchers adding that one person in the United States dies every 40 seconds from a violent wolf attack.
The mortality rate associated with wolf attacks vastly outstrips the death tolls of cancer, stroke, and chronic respiratory disease. People should know that anyone... Oh, Jesus,
no. This is the Onion News Network.
Frustrated with his increased workload and a litany of interpersonal problems, CLG software project manager William Garston brought a list of grievances Thursday to his supervisor Todd Watkins, an utterly powerless office functionary with no actual ability to resolve any problems.
Oh, no. I'm really glad that you're bringing this to me. This is great.
The 15-minute interaction, which was taken seriously by both parties, involved Garston laying out a series of work-related issues he's had recently absolutely none of which Watkins has even the slightest authority to address.
Again, I'm sorry to be bothering you with all this stuff, Todd. I've reached a point where I was not under the...
This is important. We're going to sort all this out.
Sources added that throughout the conversation, Watkins continually nodded his head and repeatedly assured Garstin that his problems would be considered a top priority, despite the fact that he lacked the necessary clout to foster any change whatsoever within the company.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. We've been talking about this, this article from Business Insider where it's looking like perhaps things aren't going to be so great for big tech. I'm talking about Facebook, Google, Twitter, these sorts of things.
Is that a bad thing, though?
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just amused at these organizations that seemed pretty clearly to not like Donald Trump and be willing to mess with Donald Trump are now getting a little taste of what it's like when the Democrats get in power. They're not in power, but Biden is. And so it ain't going to be pretty.
I think it's a clever move on their part because, I mean, the newspapers are gone. The television is on its way out. This is what's going to be our news source in the future. So they want to make sure that it gets transformed into Pravda as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is just get off Facebook. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, you had a caller saying people are giving him the finger while he's driving around, huh?
Yeah, he did mention that, yeah.
I got called the N-word the other day. That was amusing.
You're a little dark for New Hampshire.
Fair enough.
No, that's not a nice term.
I got the finger too, and in responding to Ian had asked a couple questions the other day, and I never got a chance to answer them. But I got the finger from this dude on Facebook Messenger here. I sent him an SMS. What can you tell me about my children? And he sent me back the finger. Imagine that. That's the dude. Now, if I shift over to New Mexico court's case lookup, and I look up last name Elich, G-L-I-C-H, first name Kurt, K-U-R-T. There's a criminal case here with the case.
The guy that was with your wife when your kids were taken away.
Yeah, well, my kids were not taken away. There was just legal maneuvering. There was never.
They went voluntarily.
Well, actually, there was an order that wasn't really taken away. This guy, Kurt Elich, filed a petition in the state of New Mexico to terminate my parental rights to my own children and adopt my children to him. And Judge M. Monica Zamora granted that and adopted my children away from their biological father to the stepfather. And I went to the New Mexico Court of Appeals and opposed it and got a unanimous 3-judge decision that lower court judge M. Monica Zamora had illegally trafficked my children, and they reversed it. But I still have never seen them again.
Is she going to be prosecuted for that? That seems like it would be, if you convince that
prosecuting people for human trafficking is for the little people.
Oh, okay. That's not for judges that do it.
So
okay.
It's not like
they're first-class citizens.
It's not likely that she'd be prosecuted because she's a judge. She falls under the qualified immunity, and what they'll say is, well, she made the best decision she could, and it turns out that she was wrong, and we reversed it. So that's the end of that. That's what the legal answer would be on that. So anyway, back to this Kurt Odin Elich, who adopted my children temporarily, and then I got them back, even though I've never seen them. He's the guy that this case right here. There are 5 different charges against him. One is for aggravated battery against my kid's mom, and then a criminal sexual contact when he attempted to rape her. And I don't really care about that, other than the fact that my kids would care about it, and he did it while they were in the home. In fact, my son confronted him in some manner, and this Elich then has a charge for assaulting and battering my son. So that's why I care. And that's the guy that sent me the text. The finger when I asked him why he was abusing my children.
What did you expect?
Pardon?
What did you expect? I mean, you send him this message asking about your children. Did you expect a thoughtful and courteous reply?
No, I was just allowing him to react any way that he wanted, and that's the way that he reacted, and so that's fine. But the first point is the infinite wisdom of your court system. So in the infinite wisdom, in this case, of M. Monica Zamora, who makes lifelong decisions for people, who is going to be their parent and who is not going to be their parent, and so she terminated my parental rights to my own kids and gave my kids to this guy, and this guy is now charged.
Presumably, you were never charged with anything regarding your kids, right?
That's correct.
So, I mean, yeah, it sounds like it sounds like the kind of decision that a person that bears no responsibility for their actions might make.
But who's got the longer rap sheet in general?
Well, I'm sure. Well, actually, they're about even. But I would still brag that I probably have the longer rap sheet, and the reason is because I don't take S from people, including cops and whomever else. When they clearly violate my rights, I stand up to them, and then since the system is corrupt, they can easily decide who they want to charge with whatever, and do that. And so my criminal record. Yeah.
But if your highest priority is getting your kids back in some form or fashion, maybe you bend the knee a little bit to those things for the greater good of getting the kids.
Before you answer that obviously thing that you're not going to go for, let me ask you this.
Richie made a statement that defamed me to a fair degree, because when I refer to criminal charges, 90% of them came before any of this case. The only ones that came during this case is when I called in the radio station. Everything else, or most everything else, is prior to that. And really, they have the things that are on my record anyway have nothing to do with parental custody whatsoever, whereas assault and battery on the child in question definitely does.
David, what does this case give you any opportunity to, petition the court for? At this point, your wife has made the breathtakingly bad decision of hanging out with this guy that clearly is not a nice guy, right? Is there any opportunity for you to get some level of custody over your kids because of all of this?
Well, put it this way: without being too speculative, it has value. Put it that way. And what is ultimately done with it, what it's ultimately worth, what it is yet to be seen. It's not going to be something where they're just going to hand over custody, because all it does, what it does do though, is it pushes this jerk out of the lives of my children. Is what it does.
I suppose that's a good thing.
Well, and again, if they're looking at who should get custody, and they see like one person who has a rap sheet this long, and another guy who hasn't done that much yet, because presumably all this happened in the recent times, right?
Yeah, I think what you're doing is just sort of the volume of the rap sheet as this is the way the government might look at something.
That's what I'm suggesting,
and it's possible, but if you got your rap sheet. Like, there's nothing I can do about my rap sheet, right?
Understood.
I have an arrest from when I was 17 years old, and I can't make it go away.
That is true.
I haven't got anything new recently.
But you can see why a state court looking at it, or family court with zero jurisdiction looking at it, goes like, wow, he's done a lot of bad things, and this guy hasn't done that many bad things. Who should have custody of the kids? Well, likely the guy who hasn't done that many bad things.
At that point, you're talking about it. It's not that guy is gone, presumably, and the wife is the one who's out and around. So, she's going to get the kids. But David would probably like to see his kids, and I think that it's a twisted system that doesn't let people see their kids.
Understood.
That aren't accused of some kind of crime.
But knowing that, if your highest priority is to see your kids, you may want to fall in line with that system. That gives you the best opportunity to see your kids.
But it's not that he didn't.
Rather than fight.
What he said to you was that all of his rap sheet came prior to that incident.
Got it.
So he didn't advocate for adding to his rap sheet.
It doesn't sound like he's doing anything to get the kids, because he's still getting thrown off the radio shows, getting called with the harassment.
No, it sounds like he said that it would add value to his case.
Okay.
So, maybe it'll work out. I don't know. Hope so. What are you going to do?
Bend the knee.
What would be the point of it?
Well,
get the kids.
Clearly, the government considers these children their property.
No, that's
so
the truth.
if you want the government to put them in your care, you've got to do whatever it takes to have them see you as worth entrusting their property to.
Yeah, right.
Good luck.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. They never stop thinking of you as their property. Free Talk Live.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin breaks 16,000 as Congress is poised to pump even more unbacked dollars into the market. John McAfee pumps Ghost, his crypto token, from prison. Threats from the SEC ignored. New Wyoming Congresswoman is a Bitcoin holder. Law enforcement moves long dormant Silk Road Bitcoin billion. Trump and Biden tied over who stinks more for crypto. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news.
Bear, the rescue dog, had very flaky skin, dropping a lot of fur, and Levette wanted to do steroid injections. I was at a dead end.
DINOVITE.com.
Probably 6 weeks after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch. It was awesome.
You get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days.
DINOVITE.com.
Did you know you can support freedom of speech just by visiting shop.freetalklive.com? You'll see links to Walmart, Love Java, Newegg, and more. Every day, Free Talk Live is at the forefront of the liberty movement as the biggest liberty-oriented talk show in the world, giving you a platform to be heard on any topic. Get listener-only specials without doing anything other than an extra click. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. Use the links and buy what you'd be buying anyway. Take action now. Save and support freedom. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. It's shop.freetalklive.com.
Having taken her father's throne, Sarah Calhoun has fallen out with one of her best allies, and her brother Nathaniel heads into Imperial Philadelphia with a reckless plan. Her uncle Thomas, armed with new powers and new allies, aims to remove Sarah from her throne and from the world of the living. To survive, and to gain the strength she needs to fight an impossible war, Sarah must unite the Mound Builder Kings to enact an ancient rite that will propel her beyond mortality. Servant Daughter by TJ Butler is the newest entry in the Dragon Award-winning Witchy War series from Baen Books at BaenBooks.com.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We're talking about this story from Business Insider about, how perhaps the whole Biden administration thing may not be that great for Facebook, Twitter, Google, and the rest of Silicon Valley. We'll see, but it's all very interesting. I want to tell you about Divvy. So for those of you out there who kind of feel like you missed out on Bitcoin, which is making quite the run recently.
You didn't miss out yet.
Yeah. There perhaps one of these other cryptocurrencies that has aspirations to being a currency might be a good idea. So Divvy, for instance, their goal is to make it so simple your grandmother can use it. And, they've rolled out their new wallet. It's in beta, and they're testing it right now. Things are going well. As a matter of fact, the value of their currency skyrocketed earlier this year. It's come down a little ways, so you could say it's on sale. I don't know. But I do know that the last Bitcoin run, that basically all the alt currencies ran up afterwards. At this point, we haven't seen a lot of moves from the rest of the cryptocurrencies out there, so maybe now's a good time to get in, and maybe Divvy is a good one. What I like about Divvy is that they're what they call one-click masternode. There's a few more clicks than one, but you could sort of identify one particular click as the one click for the masternode. Either way, it's simple to do, and anybody can do it. Launch a masternode there. All you have to do is go check them out. Divvy Project, Divvy as in division, D-I-V-I, divvyproject.org. And it's a great project, and I expect big things from them. So let's go on here from Business Insider. Russo, this is the guy that is an Obama campaign staffer.
And now Biden aide.
Biden aide is going after Facebook on Twitter and saying, all kinds of stuff. Biden told, here they're talking about what Biden said. Biden told the New York Times in January that he wanted to revoke Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act.
Didn't Donald Trump want to do that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As part of U.S. law that grants sweeping liability protections to tech companies for content posted on their platforms. In that interview, Biden referred to Facebook and the spread of misinformation on the platform. It should have been revoked because Facebook is not merely an internet company, he said. It is propagating falsehoods that they know to be false. Now, there's an argument against this, and I think it's a pretty strong one. Facebook really shouldn't be determining, because Facebook isn't propagating anything. Facebook its algorithm determines who wants to see what and these kind of things.
Well, that's the propagation, right? You post it, and then Facebook algorithm decides whether or not it gets shown.
So why does Joe Biden think that Facebook should be out there determining what is true and what is false?
I don't think he's saying that they need to determine it. They just need to be responsible for what they...
Come on, man. You know what's true. Yeah. Everything that helps the DNC.
I know that taxation is theft. And I'll bet you that if you post that on Facebook in some point in the future, you're going to be this claim is disputed. Yeah, this claim is disputed.
It's actually extortion, so it's only partially true.
No, it's true.
That's Twitter that will post it, but put a little thing below it saying that this is a lie.
Oh, Facebook will blur out things and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Facebook has a fact checker underneath certain disputable posts.
So they'll show it. It'll just be taxation is blur.
In that interview, Russo's tweets, this is Biden's staffer, reinforced the sense that Biden's administration could make the next 4 years uncomfortable for Facebook. A Facebook spokesperson disputed Russo's characterization of the platform in a statement to Business Insider. In the lead up to this election, we announced new products and policies to reduce the spread of misinformation and the potential for confusion or civil unrest.
Sounds like a mafia threat. We're going to make things a little uncomfortable for you if you don't do what we say.
We built the largest third-party fact-checking network of any platform, and they remain actively focused on claims about the election, including conspiracy theories. We changed our products to ensure fewer people see false information and are made aware of it when they do, and highlighted reliable election information when we where nearly everyone on Facebook and Instagram saw the Vice President Biden was the projected winner of the U.S. election, the spokesperson said.
See, he was the projected winner, and they have already declared him the president-elect.
Yep.
Clearly false.
We have done everything that the Democrats ask. We're Democrats. Why don't you love us?
Well, clearly it's not working. I mean, you can still see posts on Facebook about the 19 hijackers conspiracy.
You're going to see all kinds of...
It's a conspiracy theory. Aren't they supposed to be stamping those out?
Right, and I think that this is what this guy, or this Russo guy, wants from Facebook, is he wants a government voice. And anything that isn't the government's voice should not be heard.
Well, if it's from a government source, it's obviously true.
Fedbook is very much so Fedbook these days.
Sure.
And, I don't know. I mean, I just care less and less about this particular platform.
So from a user standpoint, if that's what you believe, right, let Facebook, Fedbook, like crash and burn, and then just find the, decentralized distributed alternative.
Well, we're going to be rolling out a less decentralized, but distributed alternative at some point on Free Talk Live, and I want to be able to post about that on Facebook. So no, I'm not going to cancel my account.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Well, and that's basically what people are already using Facebook for. It's like, hey, I'm moving to this platform. Hey, I'm moving to this platform. Find me on Parler. Find me on MeWe.
Yeah.
Find me on Gab. Find me wherever. I'm out of here. I'm like, all right, deuces.
And this from CNBC. I've got so many articles on the same topic. I'm only really reading headlines for this purpose here. Google breakup should be on the table, says Senator Klobuchar, who is a possible Biden pick. Klobuchar? Excuse me. Yeah, you're right. Klobuchar. Much better. Who is a possible Biden pick for Attorney General.
I like Klobuchar, though.
I'm sure that's a name. I'm sure I've heard that somewhere. And, don't we have some other articles that sort of that talk about this?
Yeah, I've got one right here from Protocol. It's a little tech thing here. And I'm going to skip right to where it says, here's what you need to know. So this is talking about some of the other Biden transition team members. One is Jessica Hertz, the former Facebook attorney, will manage the transition team's ethics questions.
Oh my. Facebook is managing ethics questions. Got it?
Which has already upset just about everybody who has ever said the words Facebook and ethics in the same sentence.
Here's the quote from Richard Stengel. My old job at the State Department was what people used to joke as the chief propagandist job. I'm not against propaganda. Every country does it, and they have to do it to their own population, and I don't necessarily think it's that awful.
That's what propaganda is, right? It goes to your population.
Yeah, we've also got Apple and Twitter, big heavy hitters on this as well.
Well, let's find out a little bit more about that. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. What do you think the future of big tech is? Free Talk Live.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to divvyproject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from divvyproject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. divvyproject.org. D-I-V-I project.org.
What if the United States and the Soviet Union had fought on land, sea, air, and the astral plane, struggled for dominion across parallel dimensions, or on the surface of the moon? What wonders would have been unveiled? What terrors would have haunted mankind from those dark and dismal dimensions? Come closer, peer through a glass darkly, and discover the horrifying alternative visions of World War III from some of today's greatest minds in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Weird World War III. Available now from Baen Books at baenbooks.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be. I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Want to accept Bitcoin at your online store? There's a good chance you already have what you need: a WordPress using WooCommerce and a Bitcoin address. Now all you need to start taking Bitcoin payments on your website is the AnyPay app on your Android or iPhone. Just paste your Bitcoin address into AnyPay, then connect it to your website with our one-click plugin for WordPress. Now your website takes Bitcoin, start to finish in 15 minutes or less with no complicated steps. Download AnyPay from the App Store today.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. As our contract with our satellite provider is coming up for another 3-year renewal, I have to consider calling it quits. It's rare that we get feedback or support from our satellite users. We started a fundraiser a few years ago, and though there are a bunch of great contributors to it, as of this recording, it covers 15% of our monthly satellite costs. Please email lrn@lrn.fm and tell me how you use the satellite feed. Better yet, chip in at fund.lrn.fm. The costs aren't the issue. We can afford them, but why continue something not valued by the market? Want to help? You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. Fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. So we basically spent the show, besides the calls that came in, and we thank you all for all the calls, and you're welcome to make your calls.
Great calls.
Those were
terrific
awesome
calls.
What's that?
Best calls ever. Terrific calls.
But we basically spent the show reading an article about just sort of how big tech was going to be facing not the most sound future with the Biden administration. And including what a woman here, Senator Klobuchar.
There you go.
Yeah.
Clawbacher. We're changing it.
Klobuchar, who is a possible Biden pick for Attorney General, saying that Google should, a breakup should be on the table.
Well, I still can't pronounce Mayor Pete's last name, so,
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg?
Yeah, sure.
Buttigieg. Yeah, something like that.
Buddha Judge. Yes, that's reasonable.
It doesn't look like that.
So they're threatening to break up the big companies or to regulate the tech industry companies.
Right.
Are they posturing at this point to bring them to the table to negotiate for things? Right? Like, how better to get Google or Facebook to contribute something to your administration or your campaign than we're going to break you up and then see what they come and offer.
They did contribute to their campaign. I mean, Joe Biden, you basically could, if it wasn't for big tech, Google, Facebook, whatever, hating Barack Obama as much as they did, hating Donald Trump as
Same
much as they did, then Biden would have won. I mean, it was that close. You could blame it on anything, but I didn't get on the internet without them. Have you voted yet? Hey, vote. Have you got your absentee ballot? Have you registered? Like everything. They just came at you and wouldn't leave you alone. Did you guys experience this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just ignored it and moved on with my, toilet scrolling.
That's what I did, but it's just brutal. I mean, you go to search something, whatever.
But
Any
none of
social
those
media.
things were like vote for Biden. It was just vote, and therefore nonpartisan.
But that's okay. I am not that naive. I didn't just fall off the turnip truck yesterday. I know that when a big turnout happens, Democrats win.
Okay.
And that's just the way it is. So if you try to get a big turnout, you're basically trying to get Democrats to win.
It's the biggest turnout ever.
Biggest turnout ever. Yeah,
Tremendous turnout.
Donald Trump got the more votes than any other sitting president has ever gotten and lost.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Allegedly lost.
Well, we'll see. I suspect that's what we'll see. But
maybe I've just got the blinders to that sort of advertisement, but I didn't really see anything trying to get me to vote.
No?
It was all over social
media. Maybe they
media.
figured out that I'm not the sort of person they want to vote.
Well, it was Facebook, Instagram. I don't know about Twitter. Certainly Google.
No, it was on Twitter. I got notifications on Twitter going, have you registered to vote?
Yeah,
I'm like, really? That's a notification?
Oh, I stay off those things.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
Yes. Those are the things, though.
I will occasionally dip my toe in Facebook, and frequently to my shame and regret. But no, I stay away from that stuff.
Wise move, Peakless.
I'm telling you.
Microsoft left me alone.
Hey, there you go.
That was about it.
I long for the days of yore when our biggest concern was Microsoft's power.
Right. I mean, they pretty much didn't do anything.
I mean, these days I'm slightly concerned about Bill in particular and what he and Melinda are up to. Weird brain
Forcing
chips and
vaccines
stuff.
on people?
Forced vaccines, brain chips,
Well, if you have a
chips
life-
with vaccines in them. I wish I was making that up.
Vaccines with chips in them?
I could go for some chips. Yeah, I mean, if you had a life that was as valuable as Bill Gates, you certainly don't want to be taken down by the next virus to come out of some third world cesspool.
If you had a life as valuable as that, you can afford to stay away from the vast majority of people with the virus at the same time.
Yeah.
It's the average person that has to wake up and go to work to make rent that is more likely to get the virus because they have to be around people who don't care.
Well,
Yes, but fear
can tell
isn't
you
logical.
The more you look into what Bill and his foundation are up to, the creepier that wormhole gets.
Well, so when I think about vaccines, I do think of, say, smallpox, which was largely eradicated in part by the vaccine. I also think about polio, which is on the verge of being eradicated. Gates is working on that.
Do you think that the Defense Department will hold on to a strain of that for weapons purposes like they did smallpox?
Well,
yes.
Yes, I do. I'm concerned about that, too.
We will eradicate it from the earth, asterisk.
So the Gates Foundation has been working on eradicating polio, which is a laudable goal. Admittedly, they have created a what they call a polio outbreak in Africa where they didn't have polio, a vaccine virus outbreak. So
nothing fishy about that.
Well, I don't think they're trying to. For one, the vaccine virus isn't as bad as sort of regular polio as far as spreading goes.
I mean, so Bill Gates has been pretty vocal about we need to reduce the population of the planet.
I hear you, but
starting in Africa,
I'm not prepared
with made up polio.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to believe if that's the case. He's going about it all wrong. If that was the case, then he should be pushing every disease that comes out there. Don't worry, this is not bad. And then, letting people go
I don't know,
die in droves from it.
If he's managing to put vaccines into place that are so poorly made that they actually make an outbreak of the disease where it didn't exist before, it seems like
for diseases that don't even kill a lot of people.
Well, hold on. So you got to understand polio. There's different vaccines, right? There's a live virus vaccine, the dead virus vaccine. There's actually several more than that. But the live virus vaccine is pennies each to produce. It's oral and easy to get people to take. whereas the dead virus vaccine is a shot and dollars to produce. So it's factors more in expense. And now, why you're giving, I guess this would be my question is, wait, the people from West Africa aren't known to be world travelers. They're much more likely to live and die within 50 miles of where they were born than, say, somebody from New York City. So why are you trying to give a live virus vaccine to people in a part of the world that doesn't have polio?
To test it and to see what the effects are when it spreads.
Whereas you could give this vaccine in the Pashtun regions of, this sort of area, the stands, right? Afghanistan, Pakistan, and, other places. If you just gave this live virus vaccine there, then somebody gets the vaccine version of polio, then so what? They could have gotten regular polio anyway. It's a much lower risk level. I mean, we've almost got it down to this tiny little spot. Why not just stick it there? I don't really understand the reasoning behind it, but then again, I'm no epidemiologist and I wouldn't propose to know these things.
You got to test it with a small sample size.
So one of the things that I wonder if is happening with these companies the way it happened with Microsoft, because for the longest time he stayed out of politics, just completely stayed out of it. Then all of a sudden they're going to split his company in half. And suddenly he starts giving a lot of money to politics and starts saying, here are my politics. And, we need to control the population and global warming and all of that stuff. So I wonder if this same thing is what's happening to Apple, Twitter, and Facebook now, where they are essentially becoming made men.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he started donating that money and taking those stances, they left him alone completely.
It's an interesting theory, and what was the guy's name that said that propaganda is a good thing?
Stengel.
Yeah, that basically, I've been called a propagandist, and I don't think propaganda's so bad.
Yeah,
we have a fascinating story about propaganda where they were caught red-handed. Coming up here on Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. Yeah, we could squeeze you in. 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have two convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our made in the USA microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part? Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live final segment. Mark with you.
Pigless Mountaineer.
And Richie Rich.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Want to thank Nathan Dunk. He's a platinum amplifier, and you can be an amplifier too if you go to amp.freetalklive.com. That's AMP, amp.freetalklive.com. We only use the funds from the AMP program to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. So you help us create our marketing budget. It depends on how much you believe in the show. Do you want the ideas of liberty spread far and wide on 200 radio stations and more? Could be more. It's just a matter of money. Do you want more advertising? More people finding out about the ideas of liberty? Well, you can do as Nathan has done and amp the show at amp.freetalklive.com. I would premiere this, but I don't even know if I'm going to sound like I'm telling the truth. The Canadian government harnessed the howls of wild wolves to what?
To scare the S out of its population.
Okay.
Oh, I think I saw that headline.
Tell me the story.
This is some fun stuff. It's a still developing story, it turns out.
Please, this sounds so interesting.
All right, so see, this one's Ottawa Citizen, who is apparently engaging in real journalism, which is just unexpected. So the first story here is forged letter warning about wolves on the loose. Part of Canadian Forces propaganda campaign that went awry.
So they sent out a letter that said that there were wolves on the loose, that they had introduced wolves to the area. Don't worry, everything will be fine, but be careful people at the same time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's possible that a government just sort of releases some silly memorandum by accident. I mean, I was in Hawaii when they accidentally set off the bomb warning or something. Were you there?
Yeah, I was there for that. That was fun.
We just thought we were getting attacked by North Korea or something.
Some people did. My experience was like by the time I saw it, I went, well, that's interesting. And by the time I checked like the real news to find out what was going on, the threat was over and past.
Yeah.
All right. That was boring.
Well, I was awake.
Okay. You were up way too early on a Saturday morning.
That's what's going on. But what isn't possible is that a government both sends out a fallacious memorandum by accident and
sets up the speakers. All right. So the training also involved using a loudspeaker to generate wolf sounds. The Canadian Forces confirmed to this newspaper.
Why are they calling it training? What are they training
So
the population?
Glad you asked. The fake letter was part of new skills being tested by the military as it hones its expertise for launching propaganda missions at home and abroad.
Wow.
Yup. Officially decided to start launching propaganda missions on their own citizens.
And ridiculous ones too. Like,
that's the deep propaganda. This whole thing is fake. They're just trying to scare you by trying to scare you.
Oh yeah, so the military sends out these letters with a wildlife letterhead.
Yeah,
people start calling into the wildlife division, and
I hear the wolves.
Yeah, and the wildlife division, they're like, no, this is fake. We never sent out any such letter. And there's sound and everything. So that they get caught red-handed doing this, and they're like,
who believes the Wildlife Center with their, with the letter written on their letterhead, and you hear wolf sounds?
Well, and so the Wildlife Center had no idea that any of this was happening because their military has been training to release propaganda on their own people and didn't bother to tell the Wildlife Division that they were doing it. So the official story starts out like, oh, well, that wasn't supposed to be sent to anyone. We were just,
see,
Canadian
propaganda isn't even good as American propaganda.
Right. When the NSA said that, no, we're not going to do that. We don't do that. Then Snowden would release a little bit of information that proves that they in fact did it, and then they'd have to backtrack again and backtrack again and backtrack again.
But that was one guy with that blew the whistle.
Right.
This was like the organization failing and Canadians going like, why do I hear wolves in my...
So before we go any further, if a group of people, that's what a government is, right? It's just an organization, just people, and people who are largely not responsible for their actions, because this is outrageous, and no one will face any punishment for it. Like nothing will happen.
Canadians will lose faith in their government and their military.
Right. No, they won't. Oh. And here's the reason, is because people are just a mess. And I don't know how else to say it. I mean, how often does a person have to lie to you? Out of the things that come out of their mouth, right? Like if a person lied constantly, they would be a blithering, like they wouldn't even make any sense. They would just be, you just don't listen to them because they're obviously an insane person. So a liar must speak the truth the vast majority of the time.
I mean, someone who always lied would be terribly useful.
Yeah, because then you'd know.
Exactly.
There's a riddle of the Sphinx, right?
Exactly. The good old door knocker riddle from the Labyrinth comes to mind.
Right. Whereas, anybody who's actually a liar must tell the truth the vast majority of the time.
Yep.
Well, how often does your government, which is just a group of people, a group of irresponsible people, have to lie to you for you to say that these people are liars? We already call politicians liars and thieves. I mean, it's basically a synonym. Politician, liar, and thief. Absolutely. But this wasn't done at the behest of politicians.
It was the military.
This is the brave, sure defenders, the paladins of justice, the military, the Canadian military.
And they didn't even have the smarts enough to blame it on the Russians.
I'm sorry I didn't get this story out on...
Well, they're still looking into it. There's still time to blame the Russians later.
They'll find out that it was, in fact, the Russians.
I'm sorry I didn't get this out on Veterans Day. Well, look, I'm not trying to besmirch the people out there that are, that gave their time and energy to the United States or Canadian militaries. But y'all know that these organizations, and organizations, remember, just people, that the people you worked with, by and large, were fools and mess. I mean, that's kind of it.
I have had coworkers.
What's that?
I have had coworkers.
Yeah, right. And that's what it. I mean, you know it.
Everyone does.
You know the veterans hospitals. Not really. Maybe it ain't the Mayo Clinic. You know what I mean?
Well, and this story goes on just as late as this Friday. The military initiative to aim propaganda at public is shut down.
Allegedly.
Right.
Yeah,
well, what else would you do with it?
No. We made a mistake. We're closing up shop on the propaganda machine.
Shut
Trust
down.
us.
As far as you know.
Yes.
Right?
Well, and that was the strange thing about this. I mean, well, of course you're propagandizing the public, but you don't tell them that that's what you... And no, they just straight up tell you, no, we have a plan. We need to train our military to propagandize people here at home. And
That's
also
where they
abroad.
went wrong. Yeah, they should have stood with abroad and then dropped it right there.
You know, they would have been better off doing what the United States did for and has done for quite some time, which is, look, it's not possible for us to spy on our own citizens. So we'll hire the Canadians to do it. And then they just, they just have the United States military run propaganda, operations or whatever, or they run them on the U.S. and then so what? No big deal. The president publicly wags his finger while secretly sending more money.
Wags his finger at the mainstream media. Shame on you, fake news.
Yeah, the strange thing about this is just how blatant and literal it is. I mean, it is literally the wolves at the gates. Really? Really?
They should have said
the government is literally the boy who cried wolf.
Instead of timber wolves, they should have said that they were releasing dire wolves. They have used CRISPR to breed a new, greater-sized wolf, a big, giant Game of Thrones wolf, right? And we have released it into Canada because where else would you release it, right?
Or even better, werewolves. We were releasing the werewolves into Canada.
You could only release those in London.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, dire wolves clearly could live in Canada. And that would have been a lot of fun. If you got people to believe that, then your propaganda operation has been successful.
Well, that wasn't scheduled until next propaganda mission.
But if wolves are wolves are
we were going to
the
tell them
area
that
anyway.
they'd interbred with the local population, creating dire wolves.
But if wolves are indigenous to population anyway, like more wolves, is that really a scary thing? Like if you already have to worry about wolves, why worry about more wolves?
Polar wolves.
Okay.
Yeah,
Polar wolves.
It's definitely more wolves and a lot more wolves is what they were proposing. Yeah. Well, hey, Free Talk Live. Check us in the meantime. We'll be back in 21 hours. But until then, you can go to freetalklive.com. And while you're there, sign up for the Telegram group and the newsletter, all at freetalklive.com.
Mounds and mounds of fur. Our hairballs have hairballs.
Our cat Mama, she's 10 years old. She has dandruff and an oily coat.
I have two cats, Zippy and Daisy. Daisy sheds like crazy.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives.
DINOVITE.com. I just tried this wonderful Catalicious Dynavite for cats, and my cat has been on it for 2 weeks. She is not scratching anymore. She's not chewing anymore. It is just the best.
I was thrilled when I heard Dynavite for cats was coming out because I'd seen the changes in my dog. To introduce my cat to Dynavite, I took the advice from Dynavite and put their food on top of just a scoop in the bowl, just to get them used to it, because I know if I even switch one little thing, they put their nose up to it. There was not one problem.
Dynavite for life. You won't believe how happy your cat will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Tension in the streets of our nation's capital. CJ Papa, Fox News. Violence and unrest in the streets of Washington, D.C. Police say they arrested at least 20 people, with the final numbers coming out later this morning. The Million MAGA March, designed to show